Broadcasting live from the command center located in Jacksonville, Florida. This is Military Witnesses to UAP. I am your host, Shannon Scott, and backed by popular demand, located deep in the Missouri woods, we're having big black bears in your front lawn as a normal thing. My right-hand man, Rob Heatherly. We both have assumed the duties and responsibilities of continuing the conversation. So, buckle up, hold my beer, hang on, and let's get this party started with today's briefings. All right, folks, how everybody doing today? All right, I got to do some filing away here. Got to bring up my browser. All right. Today, we're going to be talking about UAPs and trains. My right-hand man, he's not here right now. He should be here any moment. So until then, let me go ahead and welcome everybody here. And let me go ahead and hide this. Oh, hey, there I am at least. Can everybody see me today? Anonymous Rex, how you doing, man? I wanted to tell you my condolences to you and your family, my friend. I'm very sorry for your loss. I know how hard that is to lose a father. Oh, someone's in the green room. I wonder who that could be. Stand by. All right. I don't see Rob. Rob, I don't see you. I don't see you. Let me re-invite him to the to our broadcast. All right. Stand by, folks. While we get the gremlins out of the broadcast here. Yeah, here's my puppy. Stand by. Let's see. We'll try. Oh, there's Rob right there on the chat, though. He said he's going to give it another try. I resent you the link, buddy. Hi, Geezer. Hi, Linda. Hi, Xavier. Hi, Invisible. Is it Tracker? Everything's moving real quick. And the last of the, that's my puppy right there. You have to wait. I may have to excuse myself once I get Rob here to take the puppy out, folks. So he's got a puppy bladder. Yeah, you have to wait until Rob gets here. Can you wait till Rob gets here? I will. You have to wait. You don't want to wait for Rob, do you? All right. Would you just stop? Will you just wait? Yes, you'll have to wait. Wait. Can y'all hear him? He wants to go potty. I got to go, folks. Hey, potty calls, right? Give me a moment, folks, and I will be right back. I'll go ahead and put this show on hold until Rob gets here. All right. Stand by, folks. We've got to go for emergency potty for the puppy. All right. Until then, I'll be right back. All right, folks, I'm back. Give me 1 second to set up. Got to put my oxygen on. All right. Stand by. Let me see if I can get Rob back on. He's having problems getting on. Let me see if I can send it to him one more time. All right, Rob, I just sent it to you again, buddy. Go back in the chat here. Let me get my pretty face back on here. All right, Rob. Now, if I can't get you back on, I may have to close this one out and start another one. What do you think? Would you like me to restart this broadcast? Smiley face. Let's go over here to the chat, see what people are saying. Ancient history criticisms. Hey, thank you very much for sharing. Oh, there's Rob. Holy smokes. Rob.
Hey. Rob. Long time no see.
Yeah, I haven't talked to you in like minutes.
Yeah, been forever.
Woo. So, I guess it just took a while. You had to keep clicking that thing, or what?
It was an old link. It said that it was expired. It ended in an hour and 31, so it was a stale one.
Right. Well, you should have. Did you hear the intro I did? It was epic. No, you missed it. All right. No. It is so good. I want you to hear it. Stand by. Because it has to do with some current events right now.
All right.
I said, coming off the intro, right? Went right into the intro saying, broadcasting live from the command center located in Jacksonville, Florida. This is Military Witnesses to UAP. I am your host, Shannon Scott, and backed by popular demand, located deep in the woods of Missouri, where having a big-ass black bear in your front lawn is a normal thing. My right-hand man, Rob Heatherly. We both have assumed the duties and responsibilities of continuing the conversation. So buckle up, hold my beer, hang on, and let's get this party started with today's briefings. Now, was that epic or what?
That was fantastic and accurate. You're right. That was very timely.
That's a timely thing.
Yeah.
So tell everybody about the bear.
Well, my dogs have a bark for everything that are outside, a couple of pit bulls, one very motivated pit bull. And they were barking extremely aggressive for what they normally do, which either means there's a raccoon or something trying to get into their food bowl, or there's a human in the yard, something besides the normal herd of deer that are moving through or something, or the neighbors pulling up, or something like that. To that extent, they were very aggressive last night. So it reminded me of the days of old when we used to have people trying to steal parts off my vehicle or something. And so I decided just, to be on the safe side, took my revolver with me to the front door, my tactical flashlight, opened up the door.
Your 22? Your 22 revolver?
No, my 357 Magnum. Hollow
points.
Oh,
okay.
Ruger Security 6. So I was sweeping the front yard looking for the deer or people because it was very aggressive bark. So I thought, well, maybe somebody's walking through this 4th of July weekend or something. They shouldn't be back here because it's a dead end point and only 2 houses back here. So there's no trespassing unless they have a business back here, one of us. So I was looking around the yard I thought I might see deer, but there was an off chance I'd see a person. And I thought there's a big oak tree 10 feet from my front door, just almost dead center out in front of it. And I have a car, the driveway parked next to it about 10 feet over. And I thought I saw the silhouette of a tall man that startled me. And then when it was really dark, so when I could finally focus, it was this huge ass bear stretched out as tall as it could reach up against the tree, and it must have been, close to 700 pounds. And I screamed, shit, went back to the door. It looked at me, startled, and it bolted across the road. And I bolted into the house and slammed the door shut and started screaming for Anna that she wouldn't believe what I just saw. And went back out a couple of minutes later, fired a round or two in the air just to make sure it was good and spooked as I was, and hopefully it didn't come back. But I have a cat that is extremely vocal, and people have heard on past streams of mine lately her yelling like a maniac. She stopped yelling about a week ago and doesn't want to go outside anymore. Just shut up and went and sat down, and nothing out of her since, which is completely uncharacteristic of her nature. So I thought, man, something really fundamentally is broken with this cat. I was out there a week ago that night, the last night that she came in, never went back out again, looking for her in my house slippers for 2 hours and my flashlight without a gun in the woods out behind the house, which I now understand.
You're a brave man. You're a brave man.
It was probably this bear that spooked her, trying to eat her dumb little ass, and she doesn't want to go back outside and eat bear food. And I was out there looking out in the woods, and I thought I was tracking my cat, but I think tracking was that damn bear with a flashlight. So yeah, not cool. Not gonna do that again.
Oh, that you brighten my day. Oh.
Yeah. We don't dial 911 out here. They don't. All they do is come pick up the body.
I got a bear in my front yard.
Good luck with that.
And
let's know how that works out.
Just go out there with a broom and shoot
or wrecker in a couple of days.
Oh God. What kind of bear is it? Somebody asked grizzly?
It's a black bear.
It's a black bear. We have them all the way through the Appalachia Mountains, probably all the way up to Maine and beyond. And I know that we have black bears here in Florida as well. And they get big, but most of them around here are kind of small. But
the females are
deep
about
in the woods.
300. The females are about 300 pounds. The males can get up to 900. So nothing to laugh at. I definitely wouldn't want to catch it between a couple of cars or a building or something, because especially a mama bear, we all know the stories of them. But the people in the campground.
Hey Siri, how many black bear attacks happen in Missouri every year?
Not very many, but
hey, you only have 5,000 bears there.
Yeah, so they say. It's not like they come up and
you got 5,000 too many black bears.
Yeah, they signed a census form each year to count it, so they can get food stamps. I don't think so.
Yep, your black bear population has nearly doubled back in 2019, apparently.
And they reintroduced elk to our state too, and I saw one of those for the first time this year. The people in the campground told my wife about a month ago they saw a bear walking through the campground, but it was a smaller one, so I imagine it was a female. This one wasn't the female. So yeah, that was kind of spooky. So I've got my I got my Mini 14 semi-automatic external magazine, 35 rounds with the armor-piercing bullets in it. If that can't get through its thick skull, nothing will. So
just in case those bears are wearing some
armor plating,
vests,
Kevlar, yeah. They're not wearing class 4. I don't believe. So, yeah, should be able to punch a hole through it. I don't want to have to shoot it, but getting that comfortable around the animals, and we've got a campground here right next to me between my 6 acres, and I'm on 70,000 acres of state national forest in the Missouri Highlands. But half a mile down the hill from me is a campground that's extremely full this year with campers for 4th of July weekend with their families, their pets, their food, and their trash. And there's this big ass bear now out here. It's decided to make it home. Not a good scenario for the local campers. So a little concerned about that.
Right. Woo.
Yeah, I meant to call the game warden today. But getting around to that yet. They'll figure it out in a hurry if he shows up for dinner.
Do you guys have a bear hunting season there?
Yeah. And the good thing is most everybody around here stays armed, so it's not like you can't find somebody with a gun real quick if you need to shoot something. So that's not a problem.
Let's see. Linda says we haven't seen a bear here. Everything else is wetlands. What state you live in, Linda? Oh, so what's in the news, Rob? I do know a few days ago. Hey, folks, we would have broadcasted a couple of days ago, but Rob and I, one day I wouldn't feel good. Rob wouldn't feel good the next day. So it has to be a day that we kind of both feel good, and or we just don't broadcast because I don't feel good a lot of times. So I was feeling well enough today, unlike yesterday, and we're giving this another shot broadcasting here. So so I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so a few days ago, don't ask me how many days ago because my days blend together. There was a mass sighting in California of it looked like another Phoenix Lights episode. Rob, you want to enlighten everybody what really happened there?
Well, we'll go back to Phoenix Lights. There were flares put out that night along with the actual Phoenix Lights sightings that Tom King has the best footage of anybody that's been hijacked by a lot of major news outlets and TV shows, you name it by now. But they also dropped flares that night, which they came back and tried to say that that's what it was back during the Phoenix Lights, and it wasn't accurate at all. It was flares in part of it, but not the entire explanation. The other night, it was flares that were dropped, but they have a very long hang time, especially from the angle that you see them as, so they look like they're not dropping or hovering, but when they're at a very high altitude, it takes a long time for them to drift down. And it depends on perspective where the observer is standing at the time too. So definitely look compelling and lit up the Twitterverse with people, including me, saying what the hell, and scrambling to try and figure it out. But it was passed through the proper channels that it was flares. So I am confident.
Okay.
Trust the word of that. So
yeah, I was telling Rob that I served on several ships that had 5-inch guns. One was the USS Monterey, and another ship, an Aegis cruiser, was the USS Leyte Gulf. And sometimes they would offer, like coming back from a cruise, 6-month deployment, they would allow family members to come on board for a day or two. Like if we pulled into Bermuda, we would, hey, there's Mikey. Hi, Mikey. And so we'll let the tiger, we call them tigers, tiger cruise. You helping me, Mikey? All right, thank you, buddy. He's helped cleaning my table. So they'll allow these civilians, family members on board. They have to go through a screening process, of course, medical screening process. And one of the shows they always do is a 5-inch gun shoot, sometimes in the daytime. But there was one that's pretty spectacular. Excuse me, I can't speak. It is it's a nighttime 5-inch gun, a luminary round. So it has the 5-inch guns. We got one forward and we got one forward. I think we got one aft. I have a brain fart. But the one forward, we have everybody on the starboard side, for instance, that want to watch this. Nothing, forward of the smoke deck would be anything on the forecastle area, and everybody be looking right, and you can't even see the gun, but you might see the smoke coming out the starboard side. Boom, and it seemed like forever, like 30 seconds, and all of a sudden, right over the horizon, you see this light come up, and then they'll go boom, 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 and do a light up. You can really light up an area with these luminaries, right? So I was telling Rob about this. I said, you'll notice that these things, when they come on, if you time them, when they turn on and they turn off is exactly each round will do the same thing. You can almost, one pops up, you can almost tell how long it's going to last. You do the average here, right? So there's a difference. A lot of people get confused about these flares. The other one is the heat seek. It's the one. It's an aircraft anti heat seeking missile. I got a gnat, not a gnat, but a little moth here. I gotta go away. Those things they shoot off. They're real bright. They're phosphorus, and then there's no parachute to these things. They just shoot them out. If you've seen the new Top Gun movie, they use them several times in that. They shoot the flares off, and then they get real bright, and they go away. So whatever happened in Phoenix, though, it wasn't that. Okay, so if it was going to be anything, it'd be the luminaries that I was just speaking of. All right, so well, I'm glad it's kind of resolved, because you get people thinking that it's something other than a normal situation, and
yeah,
whatever.
If there were an authentic sighting that couldn't be explained, that would be yet another escalation that we're seeing over the last few years, because since the Tic Tac incident in 2004, and I know when they rolled out the new technologies for on the fighter jets with the new radar systems, that they thought at first that the Cuban and spheres were artifacts of the software malfunctioning at first, because there were so many of them, and they're pretty much persistent, but they soon figured out that they weren't, and they were being swarmed, and that's where that led up to those incidents in 2019. That now the Navy, during the congressional hearings, are trying to say, well, we think they're drones. Well, they don't know that. They don't know what they are. They're just flipping that out there, contrary to what the evidence shows. And there seems to be a lot of that going on now with the DoD, because even the military records show that those were not drones. They had some, I think, were in the air for like 14 hours. They can't do that. They were exhibiting one of the 5 observables at some point during that. So that doesn't fit the explanation of what they're encountering. And I think it's very disingenuous of them to put our military in harm's way by dismissing it like this and not bringing the proper attention to it like it deserves. And that's what started this whole chain reaction to begin with, is that we did not have, and not that he was trying to say that it is definitely a threat. We don't know what it is. That's the problem. And until we do know, with it shadowing our military capabilities, especially, we need to know. That's their job. That's what the government's primary function is, not to blow smoke and sunshine up our wazoos. They're here to protect us and our sovereign borders. If they can't do that, then they don't need to exist. That's what their whole charter's for, with our Constitution. And they need to find out if it's a threat or not. I want to know. I want to know for my family's sake. I want to know for all of our sakes. We need to know that we're secure. Not that we can do anything about it, but at least if we know what we're dealing with, we can make informed decisions. And my hope is to make some way to make peace with it. And figure out what their intentions are. It's kind of obvious to me, but it's just my opinion, and it's one that people share with me. Is being around all of our nuclear capabilities around the planet, they're not happy with that. And I dare say, from all the ancient history that I've studied with Andrew, the ancient history criticisms, and those that some of these non-human entities have been here longer than humanity, at least as long as we've been here. So, if they call it home too, why wouldn't they have a right to defend the planet? If we have the capability of sanitizing it and killing all life on it or in it. So it seems like they're minimally trying to telegraph intent with just as much reserved show that they can, like we would approach tribes in the Amazon that we haven't made contact with yet. There are still some that exist like that just see our planes fly over. They don't know what the hell we are. With these big 10 things flying through the sky, making all that noise, and helicopters hovering over them. There's pictures of them actually in the Amazon where they're shooting arrows up at them, trying to scare them away. Whoops. And of course, they would
Hey,
they
of
would think
course.
that we're some kind of gods or something with that kind of technology. And we see African tribes that do have contact with the outside. They've got broken wristwatches and stuff hanging down off their headdresses and things because technology equates godlike powers. So why
Hmm.
would we think any differently? Um, and it seems it's just a lot of people criticize me for this thought process, but if you had nature abhors a vacuum, and if you have a monopoly, you're not going to show restraint. um, where you see restraint is when there's an accord, a balance struck. For them to be minimally telegraphing intent tells me either they're not trying to spook us or they have an agreement to not interact with us any more than they have to. Because prior to the last flood, about 3000 BC, as ancient history criticisms can well attest, they were overtly among humanity as little g gods, where they actually lived in the temples and would have us bring food every day and wine, taught us how to make it, how to grow crops, and hunter gatherers, they think it was a tough existence. It wasn't. Back when the Younger Dryas ended at 9600 BC, there was very little humans left on the planet, and a wild abundance of food, wildlife, game, you name it. You can just go pull off the vine and spend maybe an hour or so hunting and gathering a day, and then the rest of it you can just spin around, just chilling out and telling stories by the campfire. But around when the Younger Dryas started is when they found Göbekli Tepe, where they first domesticated cattle and grains and all that, and they started planting. Um, that's toiling in the fields all day long. That's contrary to what they were doing, and a complete reversal of vets utilizing one's time. So they didn't do it for themselves. They did it for an outside, paleo contact type of. And I'm not saying it wasn't human. I don't know, but they weren't humans in. There's no sign of a previous industrial age on this planet in the chemical record. So whatever these technologies are that they had, they didn't evolve here on this planet. So take it from there. You can speculate all day long, but it seems they infused, uh, the regular humans in history with work in the fields and serving them. And these are copper-rich foods that are not good for humans with iron blood, but they are good for those with copper-based blood, which you have the legends of the blue gods. You can kind of do the math from there, and it kind of seems to be a little bit of a connection to that. So now this isn't 100% settled in stone with facts, but there are a lot of facts that can lay out a compelling argument with this. I'd say it would work in a court of law with at least civil court, where the burden of evidence isn't as much as criminal court. But we are working on the evidence to show um, unequivocally that we've been lied to about our history, and that there are huge gaps that we just don't know what went on. But to say that we can fill in the gaps and then stick to a dogmatic narrative and don't go outside of it, even when new facts are brought to bear, is a disservice to us. Just like the UAP discussion is a disservice when our government refuses to acknowledge that there's a problem. Our military is telling Congress there's nothing to see here. We got it covered. There's just drones and air trash, so nothing to see. And another problem we came up with you asked me was what was going on was with Travis Taylor that came out the other day saying, that he was the chief scientist with the UAP task force. And this will sound familiar to a lot of people. Susan Go's office came out with, well, he had no assigned duties. He wasn't the head scientist on that program. He was just there lingering. So they tried to minimize it, just like they did with Lou. And like people like Greenwald say, well, it came out on FOIA. It must be true. No, they're not beyond reproach. She's lied. She's done. She's been caught doing that a couple of times now with what she's issued as statements from her desk. So
Yeah.
just another means of trying to control the narrative and lie to the American public, because they want to put this back in the bottle and put it back to pre 2017 of no facts, just back to unprovable narratives and active disinformation to the American people. And that's not what we're going to accept anymore.
Right. So, somebody had a question here. What's your opinion? Someone said, Rob? What's your opinion of those alien coins? Because I have an opinion. If
I
you
really
only have
don't.
one,
I looked into that once, but it's been a while. And I
yeah,
don't remember what my findings,
yeah,
so it must have been kind of mundane.
yeah.
Andrew
This
might
is
have an idea.
the research I did was I looked at some videos and someone said, look, someone did. Someone took like a nickel and basically they did some sketching on it. Now you know it's a nickel, and you know it's American, and you know it was minted in America because it had that groove on the outside of the coin,
Mm-hmm.
and all the nickels have that. So it's just artwork someone did, and there's several varieties of it. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, if these guys are pretty technical, I mean we're to the point now that we go without a long period of time now without even seeing currency. Myself, I don't walk around with like coins and dollars in my pocket. Everything seems to be on a card these days. Mostly for me. I'm sure there's somebody out there that deals with cash. They work, they get cash, and then they do their business. But for me, I never see cash anymore. Someone gives me like
Mm-hmm.
a $10 bill. What is the joke is? What is this, right? So, um, yeah. Also, I wanted to let everybody know an announcement that as of the making of this video, we have 749 subscribers, and we just need one subscriber. So if you haven't subscribed right now, please make us
Make,
three quarters way
make
to
our day.
1,000 viewers. Also, if you haven't, hit that like, and if you like what you're seeing, hit that notification so you know that our next video will be popping out. Today we're going to be going over trains and UAPs. Now, when it comes to having the correct person on your team, Rob is the correct person because he gave me, look at all the stuff I printed out, folks.
Homework.
I got some paperwork here, right? So, is this case 3 or is this? We decided case 3 was triangles, and case 4 was
This is 4.
trains. So this
Yes.
is 4. All right, so let me pop this bad boy up. Bam! Case number 4. All right. This is from Peter Davenport. He's a director of the National UFO Reporting Center. This is the Kentucky coal train collision. Paintsville. Where's Paintsville? In Kentucky? I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't been to Paintsville lately.
Somewhere there. Appalachia.
Now, this is the way, honestly, I noticed when I started reading this, this is how I used to do reports in the military. You start off at the date and time. Now, if you don't know exactly the time, you can do approximately 0700, like that. Here, at exactly 2:47, that is 2:47 a.m., folks. So that'll be a 0247 military time. All right. On January 14th, 2002. What was you doing on that day? I don't know. But apparently these people know exactly what they were doing because they knew exactly the time this happened. While working a coal train en route from Russell, Kentucky to Shalab, oh, I'm going to butcher this one. A Shalabiana. Shalabiana. Okay.
Shelbiana.
Correct.
Shelbiana. That's
Yeah.
just one of those.
Yeah, right there.
It's one of those
You got to
wild
say it with an accent,
Georgia
Kentucky accent there. Kentucky, our training unit and first 2 cars were severely damaged as we struck an unknown floating or hovering object. All right, folks, I'm going to leave you that with those goodies. I'm turning this show over to Rob. My puppy has to go outside, so I'll be right back. Keep him entertained, Rob.
You got the cliff notes, man. I'll talk a little more about history. I might know a thing or two more about that. Yeah, what Susan Go is doing, everything goes to her FOIA desk with all FOIA and evidently press releases now also, where they're collaborating to get on the same page and try and contain and control the narrative which I don't think that's going to pass muster on ethics or legality, either one, by the time this shakes out. And unfortunately, there are people in the media that think that they are getting fed accurate information when they're not. And I think other ones know they're not, but they're cooperating with the narrative because their business of peddling incorrect UAP or cryptid or ufology related type materials that aren't steeped in fact or are contrary to the facts that are emerging. When they've got books out, they've got television shows, movies that are contradictory to what's coming out now, that threatens their existence, livelihood, and reputations, and they have a dog in this fight too, to want to pursue the same ends that those in the DoD are trying to pursue, of not letting the actual truth come out. And that's where us as a community have to keep talking to our representatives and talking to each other, sharing this, and allowing people to know that there's actual evidence that we can present to them now to show that this narrative is true, that this is not human technologies, in a very high percentage, that the narrative, like Chris Mellon stated in the Hill article recently, is that the 143 cases in the June 25th report last year are number 5 category, other. The ET hypothesis best fits the explanation for those cases, according to the evidence that the Navy and UAP task force and all them researched. This wasn't them just going out and taking a poll and calling people up. They were doing in the field investigation. The UAP task force wasn't, but the people reporting to them were. So we can't allow this to get stuff back down. And Congress can call new hearings anytime they wish. It's an election year, so they're wanting to push for their base on both sides of the dog and pony shows. But we kind of need to try and make this known that it's important to us that they get this on the docket too, because they want to get reelected, and we need to let them know that to get reelected, they might want to put some attention into this topic as well. And the more people we can inform and get educated on it, the better opportunity we have of figuring this out.
Very good. All right, so I'm back, and guess what? It's wet, so the puppy doesn't want to potty, so he'll be asking me to take him back out. He's a wimp. He doesn't like having wet paws. So, as I was saying, let's see. We're going to redo this. So, back in Kentucky, our training unit and the first 2 cars were severely damaged as we struck an unknown floating or hovering object. I know it was 2:47 because of my watch froze, and to this day shows that time. Along the way, my watch, along with the watch, the entire electrical system on both locomotives went haywire. Now, you know how many times we've all heard that, folks? How many stories have you heard where something that has to do with this phenomenon does something to a car? All right, bye. I'll go ahead and remove him. There you go. So it just seems like it always just happens, right? I mean, it's countless. Even in Close Encounters, it was in that as well. All right. Approaching a bend near milestone 42, or milepost 42, in the area referred to as the Wild Kingdom, for the many different types of animals spotted there. My conductor and I saw lights coming from around the way. This ordinary means another train is coming and will pass on the other track. The outlay of the area is this: the river, number 1 track, number 2 tracks, and the straight up mountainside curved out from the lying of these tracks. I killed our lights as not to blind the oncoming crew. Kind of like how we all drive. We got open road, and Hey, Rob's back, I think. Rob, you back, buddy? Okay. So
Yep.
I'm telling the folks, you know, kind of like, you know, when we drive, we're on an open road. There's like no cars in sight. We put on our head beams, right? Well, you get that like that ridge way out in the distance, and you could see the glare of a light that you know it's a car coming. So what do? And cars do this automatically now, from what I understand. It's automatic light dimming. I think my vehicle does it, but I've never tried it yet. Maybe I'll do that soon.
What was the year of this
Yeah,
event?
so 2002. So as an investigator, I've got some questions already, and I'll go over those once. I'll go ahead and let everybody know what I'm reading. Oh, by the way, this is from rense.com, RENSE.com, called The Kentucky Coal Train Collision with UFO Disc, from Peter Davenport, director of the National UFO Reporting Center, dated June 7th, 2006. So about 5 years after the incident. So this is, to me, this a lot of details here and questions that I have. All right, so let me see if I can find where I was. This ordinarily means another train is coming. Okay, I read all that. Okay, I killed our lights as not to blind the oncoming crew. As we rounded the corner, on our onboard computer began to flash in and out. The speed recorder went nuts, and both locomotives died. Man, I got some questions already. Alarm bells began to ring, and that's when we saw the object. Apparently, scanning the river for something, at least 3 objects had several searchlights trained there. And the first object hovered about 10 to 12 feet above the track. That's still not high enough. They're going to hit it. It was metallic silver in color with multiple colored lights near the bottom and in the middle. There were no windows or openings of any kind that we could see. It was 18 to 12 feet in length and probably 10 feet high, with both engines dead. And we rounded the corner. We made little noise. And so they're coasting, right? Oh, good Lord. You just can't stop a train, right? You just, it take mile or miles, right, to stop a train. Oh my God. So this thing, and I hope if this thing was going downhill, it's probably pick up some speed, right? Oh my God. Woo! All right. That may be another answer we'll get. Okay. With both engines dead, we rounded the corner and we made little noise, and the first object did not respond in time. I'm sorry, folks. Hey, I guess they should have had windows in that thing. Boo! Hey, Leroy!
Get off the track!
Oh, no! I gotta put myself on mute. Oh, that is so funny, man. I'm sorry. I could not do this for a living on the news broadcast. Keep my composure. Hey, we got the technology to go across the universe, but we can't see a train coming. Oh God. But get my composure. Okay. So I estimate that we hit the object 30 miles an hour. Oh, that hits hard. With 16,000 trailing tons behind us. Oh God, it reminds me of that 4-leaf clover from Metallica. Oh God, I'm sorry, folks.
Yeah, they laid on that whistle, but those damn UAPs didn't get off the track. Just plow on through them, Buford. Hit the throttle. Just plow on through them. They'll move. My God, we're bigger than they are. Ramming speed.
It clipped the top of the lead unit, then skipped back, sliced the chunk out of the trailing unit. So we got 2 units, two engines damaged, and the first 2 coal cars. Woo! At the boom, 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 boom. Say, hey Leroy, you had one job, man. One job. Oh God. Woo. Our emergency brakes had initiated due to the loss of power, and we stopped approximately 1.5 miles to 2 miles after impact. Woo. Our power restored after we stopped, and we notified our dispatcher, located in Jacksonville, Florida. Go Jacksonville. What had there? So okay, we were told to inspect the cars to see if they hold the rail and try to limp into a milepost 60, which is used to be Paintsville Yard, which is no longer in full operation. We checked everything out, and the cab of the rear locomotive was demolished and smoking. Man, we got to get a hold of those pictures, dude. The second 2 cars looked as if they'd been hit with a giant hammer. Whoo! But looked like they can hold the rail.
Okay. Hang on. Hang on a second. You're muted, Shannon.
Okay, how long have I been muted?
About 2 or 3 minutes.
Oh shoot! What was the last thing you heard?
I don't remember. I had to call an emergency phone call real quick.
Oh my gosh! Hey, audience, what was the last thing you heard? All right, you don't want to miss this. So, what was the last thing y'all heard? Doop, 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 doop. It's going to be a second before I get. Okay, yes, I know you can't hear. Hopefully, everything's back normal again.
I had a buddy of mine that's having a problem with his father-in-law, drunk and disorderly, so I had to take a call.
Yeah.
Sort it out. I can't ignore that guy. He's too good of a friend, and he never calls me this late unless he's got a problem, which isn't very often. So,
Linda, what was the last thing you heard me read? Was it me laughing
I remember
my ass off?
talking about we were talking about them plowing through them on the tracks where they didn't get out of the way and damaging the cars.
Oh God, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
man, Leroy only had one job. He screwed up, man. This is go on his records.
Yeah, there's only 3 in a ship, and one was supposed to cross the tracks for oncoming trains. He failed.
Power restored. Okay, let's see. Last thing was power restored to the train, and they were limping. Okay, that wasn't too long. Whew. Let me go back.
Yep. They were tipping cows, and they fell in the river.
It must have been so entertaining. They didn't see that train coming.
Yeah. Cow tipping, for those that don't live in the heartland, when they go out and tip over sleeping cows. They were standing up sleeping. They think that's funny.
Okay. Yeah. Power restored. Okay. Give me 1 second, folks. Okay, here it is. Our power You can hear me right, everybody. Here we go. Our power restored after we were stopped and we were notified our dispatcher located in Jacksonville, Florida, of what had happened. We were told to inspect the cars to see if they'd hold the rail and try to limp into milepost 60, which used to be in Paintsville Yard. I think it's in Maryland, actually. That's Maryland, if I remember right, which is no longer in full operation. We checked everything out of the cab of the rear locomotive was demolished and smoking. The second two cars looked as if they had been hit with a giant hammer, but looked like they can hold the rail. We pulled into Paintsville Yard at approximately 5:15 a.m. The huge overhead lights lining the yard were noticeably dark, and the only lights came from what we assumed were railroad officials' vehicles parked near the end of the track. We pulled to a stop and began unloading our grips off the wounded train. We could hear what sounded like an army of workers immediately tend to our train. Vehicle doors slammed, guys running by in weird outfits, and lights glaring from all directions. The one thing missing was railroad officials. A guy named Ferguson shook my hand and asked me to follow him into the old yard office. We did. Once inside, they, and by they I mean I have no idea who these people were, began to ask hundreds of questions. They then told us for our own protection, we'd be medically tested before we could leave. I asked repeatedly to talk to my road foreman and train master, and not only were these requests denied, they had confiscated my conductor's cellular phone. That's when smartphones just started coming out, wasn't it? Not in 2000.
No, that's when
it was just
cell
regular
phones were
phones.
first coming out. So that's
Yeah.
when the internet got kicked up around 1999 or so, and cell phones were starting to come out within close proximity.
This is just a regular cell phone then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, hours later. This one I had Primeco. If anybody remembers that, I had my first phone that I do remember was Primeco, and I believe GTE Verizon purchased them, and there you go. I actually okay. They said no. Hours later, they were led inside an old yard office, and strange things continued to happen. The second locomotive and two cars were removed from the rest of the train, and that probably takes a good minute, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we had brought in. And my only guess was parked 4 tracks over under a huge tent-like structure buzzing with activity. It seems as if what was going on was important. Let's see. What's up?
Somebody had made a commentary on talking about this, and I was doing some research on it, where they were questioning the validity of it because they had gotten people on scene and ramped up these huts really quick, but they don't realize how quick fast reaction force is. If a unit is already set up to do that in the military, they can be on scene in a matter of minutes, as we found with the Chinooks and things, and set that stuff up in a heartbeat, because that's right. What they do is go out and deny access and conceal. So they've got all those nice little goodies and gadgets and equipment already turnkey to roll out on the tarmac with the crews. So yeah.
Xavier Gamer says, medically tested. I wonder if they thought they were drunk. Well, I can tell you, I was in the Navy for 20 years. If there's a incident, everybody gets tested. If there was a near miss with aircraft, they get tested. They come down to where? The Chief Master at Arms office, and that's come down, and I do the paperwork. I have them pee in a bottle, and it's standard operating procedures. I am sure of it. Long story short. All right. Mm-hmm. All right. So let me get back to the 2 locomotives and the 2 cars were removed from the rest of the train, and They brought them in, and my only guess was they parked 4 tracks over under a huge tent-like structure buzzing with activity. We were let off the property and told due to national security. Man, how many times we heard that? Our silence on this matter would be appreciated. Huh. We were then put in a railroad vehicle and taken to Martin, Kentucky, where we went through questioning again with railroad officials. So they get double questioned, right? All right. And we're then drug tested. There it is. They had to go pee in a bottle. After all of this, they were sent to Shelbina. Sorry if you live there, and I just Shelbiana. There we go. Where we took the rest of the 8 hours and worked another train back to Russell. Working back, we passed by Paintsfield. No sign of engine, cars, tent, people, nothing. So, gone. Thanks to Peter Davenport and the NUFORC.org. Man, this is almost a comedy sketch, but
it is.
It is.
Funny.
This is funny stuff, but yeah. I'm as an investigator, I'm looking at a timeline. What I see is a bunch of questions come up, like when the time that the incident happened, and then we know exactly when where it stopped, right? And we know what time they got to the yard, and we know what time. There's a lot of timelines here. I need to build a timeline for this, and I can ask a lot of questions from it. All right. Woo! Man, that was good.
Those boys ain't from around here, because if they were, they'd know to stay out of the Appalachians. Didn't they ever see Deliverance? And rednecks, how much they love dynamite and guns and high explosives.
What do you want? Hey, there's a bright light coming this way going, woo! Woo! What does that mean?
There's some little minion on the top going, ooga, ooga. Yeah, they tapped into that moonshine. That's what happened to them.
Oh, God.
They were looking for the still.
Yeah, they were there for that Kentucky water. The Kentucky bourbon there.
Good stuff. They were trying to cool it in the water, and they dropped it.
Yeah, drinking some Jack Daniels.
Can't handle their liquor.
Hey, ETs like to have a good time too. All right. So I got 2 more of these things. How we looking on time? I don't want to go too far in it. Let me turn this down. Turn this over. We good? Good. Oh, we got another hour of this, folks. So we got a 1958 incident here, and hey, we got a Russian incident, which honestly is a little bit more entertaining. So I'll go ahead and put that down there. Okay. Try to comprehend this one, folks. A UFO took a train on board, dragging it for more than an hour. This is published August 25th, 2021. Did you read this one, Rob?
Yeah, I've read through it.
Yeah. An unidentified flying object drove a train. This happened in a former USSR back in 1985. Shop drivers Sergei Orlov, I hope I didn't mess his last name up, and Mironov watched helplessly as a mysterious object moved in front of their train without being able to stop the locomotive. In February 1985, a freight train with 70 empty wagons traveled from, Costa Mukasha. Oh, good Lord. And at least these have enough proper vowels and consonants, because a lot of times they're missing a vowel in these words. It's a Pestroviatsk. Oh, good Lord. And Soviet Jarev. Okay. I won't be pronouncing those again. The locomotive was driven by the driver's Seguri, and his assistant was Mironov. The train was scheduled, but suddenly Orlov noticed the strange ball-shaped object on the side of the trees. The UFO was moving parallel to the train. They're saying, "What do we got here, Leroy?" Orlov and Marinov. Oh, good Lord. Why can't it be just Steve?
Make up some names, man. It's not
I know.
We'll never know the difference anyway.
Watch the site closely, wondering what this miracle was. We saw him send a beam of light to the ground, said the driver. Marinov remained speechless, and the light ball dropped sharply forward and flew in front of the locomotive, overtaking it by about 30 to 50 meters. Man, we got imperial measurements over here, dang it. Orlov was frightened by the train's collision with the ball. Let me read that one over. Orlov was frightened by the train's collision with the ball and turned off the propulsion engine. In other words, he turned off the engine, the main engine, right? And then pressed the brakes with all his might. But the locomotive did not stop. Wow. It didn't even slow down, but kept moving forward as if something was pulling him. I think it might be too much vodka here. All right, so that's a possibility. I think they're rationing so much vodka a month. The shocked Orlov and Steve watched helplessly as the mysterious object moved in front of the train. It seemed that he was the one dragging the locomotive and the freight train behind him. The object had a regular geometric shape, about 4 meters in diameter, and moved low above the ground, completely silent. Orlov turned on the radio, and fortunately, it turned out to work. That's just the way he talked. It turned out to work. That's how they talk. He contacted the employee at the next station, Bob, probably right, and told him about the mysterious object. The woman, did not understand. It was Bobby. Cheryl, we'll call her Cheryl. The woman did not understand what he was talking about. But she saw with her own eyes a fireball and a disc-shaped UFO flying in front of the train. Okay, so this was a hold my beer moment for these guys. Watch what we can do. Watch these guys freak out, and no one's going to believe them, right? So, all right. These two guys could. What's up?
Go ahead.
Okay, these two guys couldn't see the second UFO from their cabin as the glowing ball hit it. So there are apparently two objects there. Okay, in front of the station, the train did not slow down at all, and the employee on duty was scared. I would be too. You thought the fireball was moving directly toward the station and would crash into it. Right at the turn, however, she suddenly separated from the locomotive, that's how it's written, and turned past the station building, then returned to the train. Meanwhile, the train passed east Novi Pesky station, whatever, but the moment the ball separated from the train, its speed dropped sharply. However, some objects hit the driver's cab. These two guys were injured after the windshield shattered. Holy smokes. As soon as the ball returned to the train, the speed increased again. Now they're just being messed with. As the train approached Zastava station, I ain't repeating that one again, the UFO disappeared into the forest. The train immediately slowed down and stopped at the station. This dude Orlov got out of the cab to check if the train was damaged, but the bright beam of light illuminated from above. Good Lord. What if this guy had any burned or biological effects from standing there? Because we all know you don't stand too close to these things when they're powered up. It's not safe.
Yeah, you get a bad
OSHA,
sunburn.
they'd be fine in America. There's going to be lawsuits. So OSHA not compliant. When the driver returned to the cab, the train left alone. That's how it's written, folks. The fireball dragged the train for a while, then disappeared somewhere again, this time forever. So something, I printed this out, and there's some type of ad over some of the writing, so I'll just do the best I can. So something was pulled by the UFO for about blank. He traveled more than 50 kilometers thanks to the mysterious object. 300 kilogram of diesel of fuel was saved. Oh, so look at there. It was actually saved in fuel because they've done that trip so many times. They know, where the fuel gauge should be, right? So, so maybe these UAPs are environmentally friendly, but maybe not too safe to be walking around either. So this diesel fuel was saved, and these guys were not seriously injured in the incident. Maybe long-term effects, maybe, huh? We ought to ask them now. But fell into a nervous shock. Yeah, I would be too. Their superiors could not find the logic explanation for the incident. All right, folks, there goes your UFO took a train on board, dragging it for more than an hour. Could you imagine that, Rob?
And their fuel was not depleted as it should have been for that time frame.
Yep, they saved fuel. Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's kind of like the guy that went into the vortex in the Bermuda Triangle with the plane that made it back to Miami in like an hour earlier or something. It got pulled through. Have you ever heard that one?
No,
he was in a little Piper plane. He was flying into a strange cloud formation with a lot of lightning and things, and he saw a vortex open up, spiraling horizontal, and he flew into it, and he said it's like at rapid acceleration, and he didn't lose fuel either, and he got back to Miami in like an hour ahead of schedule, and it was documented too, the departure time. That they file a flight plan of departure, arrival, and course, and all that, and he made it in an hour earlier, but he left on time. So that was well documented. Unless people think that they can't stop a train or tow one or whatever they want to do with it, we got to remember the story of that was very credible of I think it was Woolsey. There was the CIA director at the time, I think, that
right.
One of his close constituents' airplanes was stopped at 40,000 feet, parked in the air. The pause button was pushed. So this is coming from somebody that ran the CIA. So I'm not going to just easily dismiss that as a drunken tale around the campfire by a couple of boozing up rednecks, and an old backwoods airport. This is somebody that has high credibility and everything to lose, but it was such a prominent impact on his friend that they came forward with it to investigate, despite knowing the criticism that it would draw, and it did, of course. But given that they can. It doesn't surprise me that they can do that at all, but for stories like this to come out, people at face value, if they are not well versed in the topic, it's just completely unbelievable that they can do things like that, or would if they even exist, but much less to hear these fantastic tales. But it's not just for the entertainment value, but to point out just how non-human this is, because there's nothing in the human toolbox that can remotely approach this kind of capability. So we're looking for the outliers that best prove the case that this ain't human and they ain't from around here. If they are, they're well hidden for a very long time, which we know that for part of them have been. And for the last 5,000 years, they've just made themselves scarce for whatever reason. So yeah, that's something that we're gonna have a show pretty soon with Andrew and them to connect the ancient sightings. I hate to use the phrase ancient aliens, but they're ancient aliens, and connect it with the modern ones, because they never left for however long they've been here. And I think what the pictures that we see, like for 40,000 years BC, with the Australian ones with the giant red monster with a bulb head that's anthropomorphic, those to me, that they didn't paint what they saw on petroglyphs and things for artwork back then. They painted what they saw, what was something that left an impression with them that was out of the normal. So for that to make such a huge impact on their minds to draw these type creatures, they weren't the norm. Even back then of experiencing beings, this was something that stood out. And given that it's very rare to see those, that means to me that there weren't very many of them. And I can understand a scenario where they're just passing through. They show up here and realize, oh, this planet is occupied by higher beings, and they don't like me being here. And they decide who's gonna be a king of the hill on that one, and the losers get gone. And given that they're not still here, I would say they lost that battle. But for whatever reason, they just kept on going, just passing through. So a lot of people think that we're left to our own devices by some entities, and that we're subject to their whims and things. I don't see that with what the history indicates, and we'll get into that in another day.
Yeah. So, you guys want to hear another one? I got another one here. Here we go. Now, this one happened around the time Rob was born, 1958.
Hey.
Hey. Before I start, hey, did I see that there's an event going on in Roswell? Is that certain? Is that a something? And what is it exactly? Is that an anniversary?
75th anniversary of Roswell sighting, the crash there, and our furious leader Elizondo is there for the weekend, and he visited the representative for UFO man Tim, Tom. Forgive me, I can't remember his last name at the moment. But anyway, he's there, and he met with her and got a picture taken and sent it to me. Pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's good. So I'm looking forward to hearing how that went with the lectures and things that he gave. He was going to be a guest speaker at one of the shindigs they got going on there.
Yeah. So, hopefully somebody can record that, or it's being broadcasted. I would love to see it. If I was well enough, I would have probably attended. But I can't until I get better. I got to just sit my happy butt right here. Right. So
yeah, you mean both, man.
Yeah, it'll happen. I just got to get better. All right. So I think before I read this hilarious news article about another UFO and a train in 1958, before we do that one, I got to tell you guys a huge story. Let's see. We bring up some banners here. Stand by, folks. All right. So I wanted to let an update on the charity. The charity event that myself, Rob, and Lou are involved in. We've been having meetings, and I'm very honored to announce that Lou and Rob have decided to honor me, and I'm very honored to name this charity event after me. I bring it up now. It's called Shannon Scott's annual Vets and Vets for Wounded Vets and Pets fundraiser. So how cool is that, folks? So what we've got a recruitment campaign kind of going on right now where we've got some positions that need to be filled. I need a webmaster. I need a media rep that can do all the Twittering and all the Facebooking and all the Instagram and whatever else is out there that I don't even do. Maybe even TikTok. I'm not even on TikTok. You on TikTok, Rob? You a TikToker? What?
Nah,
I thought you all up to date, highly technical guy there. It's Mr. Media guy, right?
Cruise on by that one. That's a security risk.
Yeah. So other positions, we need some legal advice. It will be a 501c, and let me bring up some more information here, folks. It's good stuff. Stand by. There we are. Give me 1 second. I think this is it. Oh, yes, it is. So the beneficiaries, we already announced those, but I'd like to announce what percentage of the charity will go to each. The Wounded Warrior Project will have 45% of the profits, and this is going to be a 100% profit charity. So there's not a penny will go in Lou's pocket, not a penny will go in Rob's pocket, not a penny will go in my pocket. The pinups vets is 35%, and the St. Francis Animal Shelter Incorporated will be 20%. So, round of applause for those folks. I hope we make a difference. You know, if I raised a couple of bucks, I think I'd just be happy. But I think it's going to be this charity is going to be quite big, because we're getting some big names involved. We're getting some major media involved, and I can't go into that right now.
Yeah.
Nor can I go into the other headliners that are going to help us on the way. And I'm extremely honored and happy about this whole process. Very pleased so far how it's going.
Yeah, I'm gonna blow the roof off of it. I'm motivated with this. I've got, you know, we each have connections with different veterans and veteran organizations and different affiliations that are vet connected that I can bring. I've been thinking about this last few days, and it keeps popping into my head. More and more people and organizations like, hey, oh yeah, I can bring that guy on board. And he's connected with such and such, and then it just keeps. It's just like a chain reaction. So I'm motivated. I think it's going to do well.
Yeah. Knowing what I know already. Oh, another person we need a treasurer. So we'll get a treasurer after we get some legal advice. It will be, like I said, it will be a 501c. I do know that I'll be doing the vector graphics for it. I'll do the logo for it. So I'm trying to get inspired to get that done. I'm looking at different examples out there in the world, and I'm really good at doing vector graphics kind of things. Let's see what else we got going on. Oh yeah, got a meeting with the Wounded Warrior rep, going to be early next week. That's going to be happening. We do have, we're looking for advisory board members. So if you'd like to be any of these positions, please get a hold of us. And if you want to help, we'll be very appreciative. But this is not in stone. So what I'm predicting is that this is going to be anytime you want to donate to the charity, it'll be 365 days a year. You can donate the money. However, we're going to have like this period, let's say a month from October 11th to Veterans Day, November 11th, right? And we're going to have, just say Lou Elizondo is going to give us one of his Jeeps, and we're going to raffle it off to one of you guys. Now, how cool was I wonder if the rules, because everybody got to write rules for these things, right? Can I put $1 in? You know, I want to win that Jeep, right?
Yeah.
Holy smokes! Woo, who wouldn't want? You know, I tell you what, he's got some beautiful restored Jeeps, or you want to call it's almost they're examples of history. I would say that some of the first Jeeps that came back during World War II. If you ever heard Lou's interviews, he's talked about them several times. He talked about it when we interviewed him several shows ago. So, yeah. I didn't go overboard with that, Rob. I didn't go overboard or spill too much beans on that, right?
Oh no, not at all.
Good. All right. So
you can feel the history on those, like what Lou was explaining on the interview with you on the Jeeps. That you can feel the history of them, the ones that came back from World War II. I've got a couple of World War II battle rifles that you can feel in the wood stocks where they've been held so much that it wore the wood away, and you can feel the finger impressions of them where they've been held tight for so long and fielded. It's incredible to just sit there and hold it. The barrel was even shot out to where it's almost past tolerance to where
it's that the rifling's gone, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. It's been fired so much that it just shot out. I mean, it's a Russian battle rifle, so that thing, and it's almost 6 foot tall with a bayonet on it, and it's heavy. To imagine that they had to drag those through the frozen tundra, literally in Siberia, to fight the Germans and things. If that rifle could chalk the history it would have, it's just incredible. It's sobering to think about how much hell that rifle witnessed. And I had a Civil War rifle once that had WH Winship carved into the stock of it, and that I had bought at an off an old timer from a gun shop that's long since closed. But I actually found the guy that I went and did some research on it, and the WH Winship, the guy served in the Maine state militia in like 1862, and he died from exposure. So I found the actual unit that rifle belonged to, and the guy that had been issued and carved his initials in it. So I sold it to a teacher in Maine, and he took it around and was giving presentations on the Civil War to students around at schools and stuff. And he sent me a letter thanking me for it, later, of how much that had made an impact on the students that could sit there and feel those initials in the stock. And they were, you could see the look in their eyes where they were imagining the connection with the person that had that, and it just took them back in time. So that's what these things do. Like the Jeep is, we don't want to forget our history, the good and bad of it, either one, because we don't want to repeat the same mistakes, and we don't want to forget the sacrifices they made either. So.
Yeah, absolutely, Rob. I agree with you. Oh, hey, don't leave. Always at the gym. Got to run, but catch the replay. Keep up the good work and be well. We'll certainly do our best, buddy. Let's see. Rob Heatherly says. All right. We'll go on to the next one here. Anything but TikTok. Okay. When I think of TikTok, I think of little girls dancing in front of a cell phone, and that Allstate commercial with that one dude, Mayhem.
Yep.
Right, he's over there doing this, and cars crash.
You can get tens and tens of views. That's hilarious.
Get tens and tens of views. Whew.
Just like our live streams, we'll get tens and tens of views, man. How do we stay so humble?
How do we stay so humble? Now, I do believe. I'm gonna look it up. How many views did we get with Lou? It's been 3 weeks now, 2 weeks. How long has it been? I don't know. We're about to find out, aren't we? We got. Go to my channel, my videos, right here. 9.8 thousand views. It was 2 weeks ago, and we got 444 likes. So I'm sure. I know I got at least one thumbs down. It came from he who must not name will be mentioned. He's kind of like Voldemort from Harry Potter. You don't mention his name. Yeah, we're going to treat that dude like that too. So
or my new friend from last weekend's interview that said he cussed me out, and I ran away like a coward.
Is it okay if you tell the story? Please start from the beginning. What are you talking about? Because we got these viewers that did not see that interview. If you would like, I'm not putting any pressure on you. Now, you was on a friend of ours.
UFO man. It's hilarious.
He's a good friend. Yes. In fact, he may even be listening if he's not even broadcasting right now.
It's a very funny story. This guy claims that he was the plumber at the South Pole Station for a year, and plumber / fireman, and he was given a magic set of keys. And they don't have security down there. Did you know they don't do background checks? They don't have any locked. Well, they have locked doors because he had a key to all of them, but they don't have any protocols of elevated security in that building. that evidently the plumber
Mm-hmm.
can rush in on people in locked doors that are doing classified work, and he can rush
Are
in.
they watching porn
and
on the internet? What are they doing?
evidently, because he said that he rushed in, and they would have to quickly close down their computers and cover up their papers because he's there to service their plumbing. Ooh, that didn't sound good. Anyway, but yeah, he thinks that he had the magic keys and could do anything
Right
he
there.
wanted. Yep, that's it. The
Oh, by the
magic
way,
key.
I'm going to try to, whenever I come up with the logo for MW2 UAP, let me go this way. There it is. I want to implement this right into it somewhere because we got to have a magic key to get into these magic doors. So go ahead, Rob.
Yep. He was saying that he was there and that they had built this big giant array receiving antenna that he was saying that it detected neutrinos, which anybody that knows anything about neutrino, trying to detect one, you have to have these giant chambers that are shielded from every other type of energy. Period. Most of them are buried deep in the earth, and one of them it took like 10 years before they even got a hit to even prove the existence of neutrinos. But he was saying that it's above ground, it's an array, that it broadcasts, that it created electromagnetic negative effects on the people down there, including him, biologicals. But no, it is a receiver, and it detects signals or the electromagnetic field of the earth that comes out of the North Pole and goes in through the South Pole. This antenna array picks up those fluctuations in the Earth's electromagnetic field, and that's what it does. It's not a transmitter. It doesn't detect neutrinos, but that's what his shtick is, that it does these things, and that he's got his web page and is trying to spread a message that this is a clandestine operation down there, and it was putting out biological negative effects on the people down there, and it's transmitting. It's a high energy DEW weapon, and I'm not saying that there aren't in other places like in Alaska of a HARP and things that do exist that can damage, they can alter the weather. But he was claiming that this device did that and that he uncovered it because he's the plumber there for a year and could go into, they didn't have limited access rooms evidently and no security, so he could just go in and do whatever he wanted. And yeah, no security. Imagine that. You could be there for a year, get drunk, go on a rampage, kill everybody, no law, no rules. Badass, But anyway, he could go in with his magic key, and he claimed that he was rushing in, saw on monitors where there was pictures of UFOs and things that he discovered that they were doing some shady business down there, and he was out trying to tell his story. And when I was questioning him,
they were trolling him, man. Here he comes. Act like you're working on something cool.
Just pull up the porn. Pull up the porn. Quick. Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Put the computer down. Here he comes.
Yep. I caught you kids again. Drats. If it weren't for that plumber, we'd have gotten one too. Yeah, all the way to the South Pole, and the plumber caught us. Damn it. But yeah, I was asking him questions of technical, because I did do my research on him beforehand and the technologies he was professing to have been around. And he was in the Space Force. And if I'm correct, UFO man, didn't he at some point say that he was in the not Space Force, the submarine service? But isn't that a space-faring submarine service he was claiming at some point to have been in?
Oh, it gets better, folks.
Yeah. He claimed he was in the submarine service for a short time before he went to be a plumber on Long Island for the rich and shameless, but he can't name anybody of those either because because he's got NDA where he can't talk about that. And also, so he was recruited to be working at the South Pole Station for a year as a plumber and / fireman. So his duties allowed him to rush in on people when they're doing experiments and wreck their desk, I guess, if he wants. I dare say they probably didn't have plumbing that needed fixing there at the time, but I digress. He couldn't answer any questions, and I tried to ask him what his MOS was. He didn't have an answer for that. He got angry. Every time I asked him a technical question, his answer was to get angry and indignant of, why are you questioning me? It's on my website. Go look. And that's something I came into really quick with, like ancient history criticisms with Andrew and them when I joined them on TikTok a few years ago for their alternate ancient history community. we would get into debates with people, and they would just shoot us a link to a YouTube video, not even a description of it, and say, well, your answer's in there. I'm not going to sit and watch a video for 3 hours to prove somebody else's argument. And he would kept saying, hey, go check out my webpage. It's on there. I don't have to answer your questions.
Yeah, Rob,
there.
Rob, I got to interrupt you, Rob. UFO Man says all the guy Rob is talking about did was yell at Rob for not knowing anything. There you go.
Yeah, that's me. I don't know a damn thing, and I intimidated
Was you there?
very easily.
Was you there?
And I ran out.
Was you there?
And I ran away. I ran away like a bitch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it was funny.
As an investigator, I always try to figure people out. Now, when it comes to anything, when it comes to YouTube, you just think of a YouTube channel like this one. You have to ask yourself several questions. One, why are they doing it? Is there a business model involved? Are they trying to ask you to get information by subscribing to this this internet site? Maybe they'll sell you some, I don't know, some grave sites that you have to maintain, right? Monthly maintain. It's like a timeshare thing, because it's the only place it's not going to be taken out by the space weather phenomenon shit. Oh, excuse me. I try not to do that. I want to beat myself later. Can't say shit. Anyway, go ahead, Rob. I'm sorry for interrupting.
What else was he? What?
Potty mouth.
Potty mouth. What else was he claiming? I am too overwhelmed.
Dave, wasn't there something to do with the Nazis?
Spacefaring Nazis. Yeah, the
space.
He was talking
you
about,
know what we call that? That's the Empire in Star Wars, guys. That's the Nazi spacefaring Nazis. It's the Empire from Star Wars, folks. It's the real thing. Did you know that?
Yeah, he was saying he got a picture of a pyramid in Antarctica that he has the only picture of. You can see this little almost pyramid shape in the mist of a mountain range, and it does kind of have a little bit of a.
It's all. I don't know why he thinks he's the only one that has that picture. I can pop it up in 2 seconds. I know what he's talking about.
Maybe, yeah.
It's if it was that interesting, people would be there. It's, by the way, it's a single piece of. It's a single piece.
Yeah, it's a one-off.
Could it be caused by weather? Yeah, if it was manufactured by a bunch of guys, it'd be bricks or something, right? It's not. It's one big piece. I listened to another person talk about being down there, and he talked about the exact thing this guy, he says he got a picture of that you can get off Google Images, I'm sure, in 2 seconds. And they're like, yeah, we're not, no one goes there because there's nothing there to look at. It's cool looking, but it's not something people are going to go down and invest in an expedition. It's very expensive to do expeditions down there.
And I did watch some of his. He only had like 2 or 3 other interviews, and one of them was with the adorable lady from the UK that does herbalism and things like that. And he gave her a palm reading, and he kept citing back to the sages of old or something like that. The ancient wisdom keepers, I think is what he called them. But then again, he was just pulling it out of his wazoo again. He didn't have anything specific. He couldn't name them. He couldn't name what their discipline was. Nothing. But she was unfortunately buying a hook, line, and sinker. But she didn't ask him any questions. She just let him come on and give his diatribe. And like what UFO pointed out, UFO Man,
sucking it up, right?
Yeah, he was railing at us that, hey, we need, you guys needed to have supported me.
Yeah.
So he basically wanted us to back his narrative and not ask any questions. That's not what we do. And we were asking, honest questions that were respectful. If he'd known anything about what any of us do, that's what we do. He didn't do his homework. And he wanted to come back and do an interview without me, but I was such a coward. Why didn't he want to do it with me again then? Just saying.
Yeah, very defensive. I was listening to it. Not only was I listening to it, I was late. Sorry, UFO Man, I was late to your podcast. So I started listening at 1.5 speed, and to hear this guy be as hostile, I was hearing it at 1.5, the speed of being hostile. And it got to the point where I had to bail on the interview. And I normally don't bail out on interviews. But this guy was so obnoxious and I wanted to
Yeah.
stay and hang out because my boy Rob was there, but it was like it was driving me to drink.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. You can't deal with stress. We don't need to get your blood pressure up
nah, I
or
got
blow a
I
breaker.
got yeah, I got a story about my blood pressure, and some people may already know from another show. I was a guest, being a panelist. I um I got some news from Lou, and I was so happy to receive this news, and unfortunately at this time I can't share this news until maybe further down the road I can share it. But I was so happy about it, and at the time I was on prednisone and I was sick, and I was actually home hospitalized. It was during that, and my blood pressure was so high, and I was reporting to these guys. I was messaging them through the back messaging thing through the green room
Yeah.
type thing
Back
on this
channel
show.
chat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That my eyeballs hurt for 2 days after I announced gave Rob the news, the great news. My eyeballs hurt for 2 days afterwards. So
No, we
I
can
guess
tell them a
that's a
little
sign
bit.
of having high blood
Somebody's gonna
pressure.
somebody's gonna pay you a visit. So.
Yeah, Lou gets my
Mm.
blood pressure up. I'm sorry. Here I am. I'm trying to get better. I'm at the Mayo Hospital, right? I
Hmm.
get a phone call from Lou, and and they come running in to the room.
Yeah, all your bells and
Why
whistles
is your
went off.
blood pressure? Why is your heart rate is 130?
Yeah, you're at like a 200 over 150, something like that. You're ready to
It
stroke
was
out,
so
man.
damn high. My wife had to come in here and give me a chill pill, man. I have medication to lower my. I don't have heart rate or blood pressure problems. It kind of connect when I get sick. Blood pressure goes up. My pulse goes up. My sugar goes up. I'm on a. I'm on this thing here, and then on this leg here, I got and it gives me insulin throughout the day. So, oh, it's better under control. I'll take a deep breath. Stuff is so funny. Okay.
Yeah.
So toward the end there, I heard at the end of that podcast that you and him had words after the show.
Yeah, when we UFO man was nice enough to stop it at an hour because he didn't like what was going on, and he almost stopped it a couple of times during that hour when he was getting so irate with me. But I can hold my own,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to. I'm not gonna, I'm not. I do not like engaging in arguments, believe it or not, but I'm not going to back away from one or allow to be, me or anyone else to be bullied around or pushed around on a live
Mm-hmm.
stream. So, I was, he was making an angry argument, but he wasn't making any sense, and he didn't put out any facts. I was being firm with him and rebutting with facts and trying to, he may have mistook it for me being weak, but he doesn't know what meek means. Evidently, that I had the ability, but I chose not to use it. But I was trying to have some decorum and try and reason with him and use logic. But the guy is all emotion and no logic. So I tried to be logical, it didn't work. And at some point, like when we shut it down afterwards, he was yelling at me and cussing. And then UFO man closed the StreamYard green room down. And then for 5 minutes more, the guy and I was trying to reason with the guy and point out to him that I was trying to actually help him because he was saying that there were biological effects of this antenna array, and if so, he should have been able to corroborate this with other people that had biological effects and improve his argument to show that this is consistent with biological effects that we see with EMF radiation. But instead, he just wanted to yell and cuss at me. So when I realized that he's unteachable, which is a term I use from here and there, but when I find out that somebody isn't open to learning or at least reasoning and listening to a different side of the argument, I'm done. If I
Yeah.
decide they're unteachable, I leave. That's it. I'm done. I'm go. And
Mm-hmm.
he was unteachable, so I just he was just cussing a blue streak, so I just clicked off on him. Then he posts on his website that he gave me an earful and cussed me out, and I ran away like a coward. That's not exactly what happened, but it's his website. He can publish what he wants, but anybody that knows me knows what the truth is.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
I know the sun doesn't
I was
opinions of me.
I didn't know what was the conversation that UFO man and you were having. I didn't even know if he was offended by what you were saying, because I didn't take it, but I was just wondering how he was taking it, because I didn't want you and him have issues. So apparently that never happened. So that's good news for me. Yes, he does. Rob has an impeccable debate decorum. Somebody asked, where am I from? I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. Home of Leonard Skinner, folks. Woo! Hold my beer. Right there in Florida Man. If you ever hear some crazy Florida Man story, it's going to be right here in Jacksonville, guaranteed. Or Tampa. All right. Let's see. There was another question. Okay, somebody asked about the heart. My blood pressure was so high that you have vessels in your eyeballs, right? Well, let's say you get those that blood pressure so high that it's actually dilating your blood vessels in your eyes to the point where you're not used to having it that high. Well, when I got my blood pressure down for 2 days, my eyes ached. Why? It's because it had so much blood being pushed into my eyeballs. That's all that is. Let's see. Somebody said, hopefully here soon. I think it was this guy right here. Give me 1 second. Right here. This young man right here. Good news, I might get my 100% VA rating in a few weeks. And if you do, congratulations. I have a 100% rating through the VA only because I have an advocate through Wounded Warrior Project. If anybody is listening to this right now and they follow under the criteria that they're looking for you to be alumni with them, you have to go online, Wounded Warrior Project, sign up, and then I was able to get a hold of somebody there to hook me up with a person that can represent me. And they made one phone call, folks, and dealing with the VA for so long, it almost gives me PTSD just dealing with these folks. The family has these ongoing jokes about the VA because it was just a nightmare dealing with them. It's like if we asked or requested something, it would be months for something to come back. And if anybody has dealt with the VA, they probably know what I'm talking about. Ongoing joke in the family. My wife walks out to the mailbox. Honey, do we have anything from the VA today? That's the ongoing joke because we're always waiting for something for the VA, but no longer. A few years ago, I was rated my 100% due to the fact I'm incapacitated for most of my day. All right, so that was some good stuff. Let's see. Oh, good. Yes, Florida. Yeah, we already explained that one. All right, let me come on down a little bit more. Do that one. Oh, good. Yeah, Rob's a good guy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He paid me to say that, by the way. Yep. What right here, Rob? You and well, you might say, "Don't call me sir."
Yeah.
Not that kind of officer, but he is a gentleman.
I gave him a chance to show that he was actually had some validity to what he was saying. I kind of gathered after what I had already ascertained before the interview that he likely was just full of fluff and stuff and no facts at all. He was just bullshitter, basically. And if he had anything to bring to bear that did give any validity to his argument, I was trying to bring out points that if he had validity on those, at least he could have advanced it, but he didn't. He had nothing. And I have a problem with people that are trying to misinform other people, especially when they have a paywall on their website to harvest money for their false narratives. I have a problem with that. I don't like people being lied to, and he's one of them. So I've been in this in earnest for a year now, and I've been doing ancient history with Andrew and them for 4 years, and running. And we've found a lot of charlatans along the way that are just into this
Yeah.
for the money and peddling their own brand of bullshit, basically, that have no facts whatsoever. It's a false narrative. And I have a problem with those people because we're trying to bring validity to this, and people like Lou that are working so hard, since 2017 when that New York Times article came out to legitimize this conversation, and people like this are holding it back, and they're also damaging people because they are lying to them and creating these false narratives, and they do not have a good understanding of their worldview, and when these people lie to them, then they don't have an accurate worldview to make accurate decisions that might affect their day-to-day life, in some capacity.
Yeah.
I have a problem with that.
Right. Like when it comes to, I'll go ahead and let everybody know where I stand with this. The thing is I'm a type of person I want to believe, and I've got to be shown like evidence. And I tell you what, things that Rob has showed me, I'm the type of person that I have an idea in my head, and you throw something that kind of puts me in a new, it changes paradigm, right? But the thing is, I also know that, like a magic trick, you see a magic trick, you go, wow, how'd that happen? But once you're showed how it was done, you go, oh, why didn't I think of that? So in my mind, maybe some of the things that people are just losing their minds over or very excited about, that things Rob would share with me almost a daily basis, and I'm thinking to myself, this guy's off his rocker. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, okay, I'm looking for the space laser, folks. I see the stuff, I see the evidence. It is compelling, but I'm also on the fence a little bit on whether or not the things could be easily explained, if that makes any sense. But I'm not being rude toward Rob, that I'm not all in. He's more convinced of it than I am, and he's sending me things. I'm reading. I'm trying to educate myself. I'm trying to catch up. This guy is very knowledgeable. I feel like a kindergartner. He's he's in his college, postgraduate classes and stuff, and I'm catching up with this dude. I'm far behind him. But what's that, Rob?
I understood where your knowledge base was with what you were telling me and what you're basing your perception on. And I was offering, and I tried to do this with everybody, to just give the facts and let you draw your own conclusions.
Yeah.
I can tell what I believe what I do, but I try to build on people's knowledge base and then add to that to help them. And this is what I like about debates, as long as it can stay friendly, that it helps us reestablish why we believe what we do, because we go back and re-examine it, and we have to provide evidence. We give actual links, imagine that, and to prove why we believe what we do. So during a debate, we go back and pull those out to reestablish why we believe what we do, and it helps us to remember and build our platform as well. So knowing where you were with it, and why you believe the way you did, I was offering factual information that I knew existed to bring to your argument to help you shape your viewpoint of it, to help you have a better understanding, as I understand it, and trying to get the most factual data to do that with.
Right. Yeah, I just like a good, I've been watching, for instance, National Geographic. I've been watching Nova. I've been watching the History Channel ever since it's come. It came out a long time ago. The Learning Channel, back when they had stuff you can learn about, right before all the craziness shows. Whatever, the Kardashians or whatever.
Reality shows.
Yeah, reality shows. Like Dog the Bounty Hunter, that kind of stuff, right? I don't watch that garbage. But yeah, back when these shows really, like MTV, really had music. Yeah, back in the day, they had actual music videos. Oh man. So, anyways, I'm I can change my mind. I'm keeping an open mind, and I'm not the type of person that is so stuck in my ways. I've become like rude. Like, Rob, you're full of shit, man. No, I'm not that type of person. Give me the evidence.
Yeah.
That type of things.
That's where they
Very,
started out
and
with this.
that guy could have been like that. Other dude that we're talking about could have been like that too. But you have to ask yourself, why is he saying what he's saying? Is there a business model? What's your opinion, Rob? Does this individual have a business model for his story?
Yeah, yeah, and I'm sure he pulled it
There
off
you
of
go,
Gaia.
folks. Thanks for
You know,
watching, folks. And
they create a false narrative that's unique and that is so sensational that people will flock to listen to it, because they want to believe so badly that they take advantage of that. And if you could just dial in on that perfect little brand of unique woo, and I'm not saying that there's not legitimate woo, there is, but he was making it completely out of fiction and then trying to sell it to people literally for money to pay for his shtick. I have a problem with that.
Yeah. Just be cautious of people. The reason why they're doing it. Ask yourself why Rob and I are doing it. Is there a business model? Are we just trying to figure things out all together as a team? That's what it really is. And we have a common friend. We have that common friend of ours. It rhymes with Lou Elizondo.
Yeah.
Lou El Camino.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And you all in the community that, it's a team. It's a team effort. And we couldn't do this in a vacuum. It takes all of us, UFO man, to, and Andrew and them. Andrew took me on. I was one of those people in the chat, in the live streams and premieres and things on YouTube when, for a couple of years I was researching ancient history by myself. And I had things that I had questions on, I had insights with, and I thought were relevant, but no one would even acknowledge I existed. They wouldn't respond to my comments left on videos. No play in the live chat, nothing. And I know what it's like to be on that end of it. And I was determined that, and I met up with Ziggy Dan on his channel, and I asked him some questions and I offered some insights. We developed a dialogue and a conversation. He's like, well, I think there's some people on Twitter you might want to meet and have a talk with, because this is a little above my head. And I think you might find that some interesting conversation. So long story short, I met up with Andrew and Phil and Dave, tremendous powerhouses in ancient history, and just genuine stand-up guys that I came on board with. And I've been going at it with ever since. And that's what we set out to do, was find out the truth of our history and get it out there. We don't get paid for this stuff.
No.
We have some big channels, but it's not about the money. It's never been about the money for us, or the fame and fortune. It's not like we're star power or anything. We're just in it to learn the truth, and it takes a community to do it with.
That's right. And Rob, just and let the audience know this section of the broadcast is brought to you by Shannon Scott's annual Vets and Vets for Wounded Vets and Pets fundraiser. All right, back to you, Rob.
Hey, I like that. I like that name, man. That's catchy.
I got to make a logo for that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for interrupting you. That was one of those timing things.
Yeah, I had to look at that early on with what were people's motivations. When I got into ancient history on Twitter with these guys, we went through many different people that were coming in and saying they had all the answers, and they would just throw out there, the nubs the nub guys is what they call them in the rest of the history community, of Graham Hancock and all them, and Brian Forster. They refer to them as the nub guys because they are the world's experts on them. Those are hallmarks that are on the majority of megaliths around the planet that indicate that the builders that built the megaliths were global and they were interconnected in a time when they shouldn't even had awareness of each other on the continents. They were, and not only were they aware of each other, they had power equipment, which my background in engineering, I can easily spot power tool marks on a medium, and on stones is no different than on wood. So it was very apparent to me right off the bat that I was looking at high technology that there was no explanation for in our history whatsoever. Nothing. just like with UAPs now. It's crickets. You know, they deny the existence of it. So we
Yeah.
fought a lot of battles with a lot of people, and we were gentle about it. And you know, we didn't condemn anybody or criticize anybody for not knowing. We would gently try to educate them on it and be civil and courteous and present them with the facts. And it was up to them how they wanted to interpret it and react to it. And a lot of people can't believe this, just like with UAPs now. Our government has spent 75 years in disinformation trying to get people to not believe in UFOs and things encrypted. So it's not going to be an overnight change that people start changing their minds and accepting it as truth. That's a lot of, you know, that's almost a generation that's going to have to fall away to create younger generations that are more easily accepting of this. That's partly why they did the TSA stint for 2 years, because they knew the younger generations would be more accepting than the older ones. So you know, we fought that battle too with ancient history. I thought that they call alternative, but it's not. It's just pure history. But they don't like it. It's an inconvenient truth. They'll have to rewrite the history books. They don't like that. Well, tough shit. We let the evidence take us where it may. We're not doing this to play to a narrative. We're doing this to play to where the facts lead us. And if we don't like the answers to it, fine. You know, it doesn't have to fit our expectations or, you know, and if it hurts our feelings, so what? This is about feelings. It's got to be kept out of the equation.
So, we're coming up on the second hour, Rob. Are you up for another hour? Would you like to do another hour?
Sure, I can talk all night.
Okay,
for those that
me
want to
too.
hang out.
So if you guys in the chat room, I got it says it's 13 watching. If there was just one person watching, I would still be doing this. Honestly, it doesn't matter if I have 10,000 because
watching. I just like hanging out.
Just hanging out. You know, a lot of people have lives and they have to go do stuff and they listen later, and I appreciate it. But we'll just continue this for another hour, folks, and I hope you don't mind. All right. So somebody said some breaking news here, my friend. Do you know this guy, UFO Man? I don't know if you can read the headline here. It says, I'm getting Travis Walton for an interview soon. Spoke to him on the phone tonight. I am a big Travis Walton fan.
I would love to be in on that one.
Yeah.
I watched him. I have a very.
I'm a big fan.
Go ahead.
I was going to, if UFO Man, if you and Rob could do me a favor, if I can, if he has one, or if I could send him one, I would love to get a signed autograph on a picture of him, because the man is one of the stories. It's just like unbelievable, and it happened. I am so convinced what happened. You know, there hasn't been, you know, and I did go see Fire in the Sky when it came out in theaters, and I kind of thought that's what happened. But what really happened was more interesting than what was in the theaters. I got goosebumps. I wish I could show them. I got goosebumps just even thinking about it. I've heard Travis tell the same story. I don't know how many times, and I don't know how many years, but it's almost like I can go up and I can tell the story for Travis, because he said this. He has never wavered. He's another person who's never wavered from his story. Wow. So if you guys can do that for me, I would love to add that to my UFO collection, which I have nothing. I have nothing in my. I have the day after Roswell's, and unfortunately the Arthur passed away some time ago, but I'll have it signed by somebody else that was connected to that. There's that one not German. She speaks Italian. You know what I'm talking about. She's a reporter. She's worked with Jacques Vallée with the latest book about those kids and that UFO and watching that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know her name. But she was part of. I would probably like to have her autograph one day too, because she's awesome. Yeah.
Wrote the book American Cosmic also. Shameless plug for her book, but I don't get any of the profits. So there it is.
It's been brought. This portion of the video has been brought to you. American Closing. That's what it says.
American Cosmic.
Excuse me. Where's mine? Oh, here it is. here's my only. Now I do have an electronic. I got the story. I forgot what it's called, but it was this dude who he went hunting with his bow and arrow, and he was up in this tree, and this UFO landed, and this mechanical thing came out, and he shot it with these arrows. Crazy story. If you know what I'm talking about, that's the one I have on audio. This is the only physical book. I'm sure everybody has this in their library, but that's interesting. I got several books, but I got to get back to listening to them. But anyways, yeah, that is very cool, UFO man. Wow, Travis. He's like, can I say it? He's like a pillar in the community, I guess. That's the only thing I can come up with. He's one of the ones that it's a rock. He's a rock star. My God, he was hurt. He was taken. His story did change. Let me tell you the part of the story that did change. It changed from him being hurt, taken, and brought back, but he now believes that they were helping him, right? So they didn't want to leave him dead. So they took him and they fixed him and brought him back. I think that story, and right up there is the Brookshire UFO case, September 1st, 1969. And guys, if you haven't seen that on Unsolved Mysteries, season 1 on Netflix, as soon as you see this, at the end of this, don't do it now, at the end of this video, in an hour, what time is it? Yeah, in 57 minutes, yeah, go watch it. I've watched that 4 times, I think, because the videography, the way it was filmed in the beginning with that mother.
Yeah, Travis also said the ending was not. He said the ending wasn't accurate either, but the film, the movie producers,
not even the beings look like that, and them being like using those alien suits for, I guess, like astronauts. That was the creative part of the people who the executive producers of the show. They come up with this stuff, and the writers. This is not what Travis. I would like to see like a big movie, highly financed movie that Travis would be happy about. How it would actually tell the story and do it in a way Hollywood style. It can be done. I know it can be done. Even if you have to go out and do a GoFundMe or something, he'd get support with it. So all right, let me get off that. Stop beating that dead horse.
No, I think he was treated very badly on some other podcast interviews that really angered me of how he was being interrogated and belittled. Like much the same how Lou has been treated in the chat, but these were actually people that were interviewing him that were doing this, and it just went all through me. It reminded me of what Kevin Day went through as well when he was giving his testimony of what he went through and how, from until he saw the New York Times article and other people coming forward finally with their stories in the military, he had to sit down, shut up, and he was made to be. He was ridiculed and couldn't speak of what he went through. But it was very traumatic for him. But the military let him down on that. So did his fellow crewmen and shipmates and everybody. The whole apparatus held him. And for 15 years or so that he had to sit on this and keep it to himself, it damaged a big portion of his adult life. It affected his career, everything. And now he's being vindicated. But like with Travis Walton, I want him. I would like to see him be treated with respect. And I was just writing the UFO man. I don't have to be in on that that interview. I'm a team player, and it's not gonna hurt my feelings if I'm not. I just, I would love to see him treated more, with respect, which I know that he will, and where he feels like he can come forward and heal from it. That's what's most important to me, is that Travis has the ability, like Kevin Day, both of them, where they can come forward, tell their stories, and it has some kind of a net positive effect for them. That's why I do this with people, to give them a chance to learn, but also to heal, because I know what it's like to hurt, and I hate seeing it.
Yeah, UFO Man says you might be a panelist on that. So yay. And then okay, we'll do Shannon. So yeah, when I popped up that message, I was like, so yeah, he saw that. Keep on keeping on, and we will. See, if Travis could identify nubs in the craft or what he saw, that would be a huge connect.
Yep, it would.
Yeah, he is at another level. You think about it, he has done nothing but put negative light on himself by coming out and telling his story. I mean, I don't know what that feels like. I come out and I tell my UFO story that I had secondhand information about both times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and could you imagine people telling me, "Yeah, you're just a liar"?
Yeah, you're a liar, and
I
you're
wouldn't
just
want.
doing this for attention, and you're just in it for the money and the notoriety. Yeah, it's gained him a lot of fame and fortune, folks. That guy he's making the bank and living the good life. No, not hardly. It's destroyed his life, and he is compelled to get his story out there because it's so traumatizing. He can't
It's
not
almost
tell his story.
and I've heard it from other people too. It's almost therapeutic every time you tell the story. It's like you become desensitized to the trauma of it.
Yeah,
Because
yeah. When somebody's got high
yes,
trauma,
Ariel,
that their mind has to suppress it. The intellectual self suppresses it from the emotional self, and then it lets it back out at a rate that the intellectual self can allow to cope with little increments of it at a time to titrate it out
right
as it can cope. And that's a coping mechanism, survival mechanism we have. When it's like with a battle, that's not the time to cry and show your emotions. It's after the battle's over, and you can cry when it's done. But until that time, you got to put your emotions aside and take care of business. And a lot of these people that are still traumatized, they're still running, and they don't have a safe place yet to stop and examine their emotions and sort it out. They're still running, and they need to know they have a safe place at some point to stop and have a community that's willing to help them heal. And that's what, part of what our vision was for this channel is to create a safe place for people to have a conversation about many things. We're going to support veterans, but it's not exclusive to veterans or experiencers. Anybody that wants to talk about anything, especially if it's something that they need a community to hash it out with, we're here. We've all been through some shit by this age, and some of us do have some compassion in insight to share with others. So, that's what it's about with me at the end of the day is people, not things. So, that comes first.
I also agree with Xavier Gamer. Ariel, heck yeah. If you haven't seen the documentary, is it worth the $20? No. Especially if you already have purchased James Fox's The Phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch that portion at the end of his movie, his documentary, it does a good as job, or maybe even better than Ariel. Unfortunately, Ariel didn't have the money backing to get it edited correctly. From what Rob was telling me, it seemed very as a video. I do video editing, and I think I could have done a better job on my iPad Pro over here, editing it, adding music to it. It was the music. There really wasn't a lot of music, to get you, in my opinion, get you really sucked into it. It's very good for, hey, this is what happens. Just, no music or anything. There wasn't even much. I don't even think at all, or much narration. I can't recall it. However, I do know in The Phenomenon they had someone who does it for a living, voice narration. They got him, and it came across really good. So I think it could have been done better editing, but I was like you guys. If you've been waiting for that documentary to come out for years, I'm happy it's been released because at least I got my wife to watch it too.
I heard Nickerson was trying to get a big name producer to pick it up for the last year. That's why it was delayed in its release. They were trying to get some big dollar production behind it to where they can make it a better video or better movie. But they didn't have any takers. Big shocker. So they went ahead and did what they could with what they had. So it wasn't as high a production movie quality for entertainment purposes as the mainstream movie productions that they have. But the substance was good.
Very good. See, that's what we got here. Let's see what Rob Heatherly's been saying. Who was saying? Was saying one of his superiors was telling him to back off. It was demons. Yes, it was, because someone up here just said. Let's see. So he, the last of the finest says, I remember something I heard Lou say one time. He said before he left the Pentagon, when he was trying to get to the bottom of all this stuff, he said, "Have you read your Bible lately?" I wonder what he's referring to, Rob. What book in the Bible may he be referring to?
Pick one. It could be Revelations. It could be the Book of Enoch, Ezekiel. Yep. Probably Ezekiel.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Ezekiel.
Yeah,
he goes real in detail
with all the eyes.
I mean,
wheels. Yeah, they were basically saying that one of his superiors was telling him to drop it because it was demons and we're summoning it by investigating it. I am not saying that it's not at some part angels and demons as we understand them to be. I don't know,
right.
But my faith tells me that it would have to be in the equation somewhere. I can't dismiss it, and I don't. It's part of it, but I don't want to inject my faith in this like what Lou does. He doesn't want to put his faith in this and muddy the waters to create influence of what somebody can feel or what they have faith in. It's what we can prove, and we can't prove that. And so it's up for conversation as a potential, like many other things. And I found with this, it's very there are very few things that we can settle with this conversation. Just like with ancient history, we can more easily commit to what it isn't in a process of elimination, and whittle it down much easier that way to start in on that end of it than what we can prove it is. We can prove what it's not. Just like with Category 5 in the June 25th report from last year, that other category, the other 4 are what it's not. So the 5th one, all it states is that it ain't human, basically. But from there, it's anyone's guess as to what we're dealing with. And I think, like a lot of others, that we are not looking at one monolithic type of them, that there are many orders and magnitudes that we've been veiled from for the last 5,000 years. Before that, it was like a Joker's Wild of full-on little G gods running amok on the planet. And that didn't work out for the powers that be, and they reset the table. And it's happened several times in our known history of humanity that we've had cataclysms on an average of every 2,000 to 3,000 years that humanity has been pushed back to the brink of extinction and started over again. This last 5,000 years is the longest run for a civilization to not be put back to the brink of extinction to allow us to evolve into this technological age that we have. It's unprecedented. But why it's been, we missed that window 2,000 years ago where we should have gotten whacked and reset, but there's been many evidence of wars among gods before these cataclysms and things took place that are in ancient manuscripts of many different religions and things and mythologies and stuff. So we can't dismiss it. We have to examine all of it, and just like with the pantheons of the Norse gods, the Greek pantheon and things, that there's some supposition that those were demigods in Egypt also. If you want to go with the Old Testament, where the Book of Enoch, the Watchers, that those were the sons of the Watchers, the Nephilim and things that weren't immortal and lived forever. That kind of fits the description of the Greek god pantheons and stuff, that they were part human and part god, where they had heightened abilities and traits and things that are consistent with a lot of ancient religions, not just Judeo-Christianity, but also in the Vedics and Zoroastrianism and the Anunnaki tales and stuff. So there's a thread of truth about it. And
Yeah.
Halloween was actually found to be a memorial for the Younger Dryas. For people that don't know, that's when the comet hit planet Earth during and put us back into an ice age for 1,200 years. At 12,800 years ago, and then again at 11,600 years ago, the Earth got hit, and sea levels rose 400 feet and nearly exterminated all of humanity. And that's when the Garden of Eden and all that came about after that. But those were, higher beings that were on the Earth and maybe earlier ages of man, because the Bible doesn't say that we were the first humans God ever created, or the only beings that were created. To think that this is the only place and the only planet and the only time for an eternal God with omnipotent powers is very short-sighted. So this, religion and belief in aliens aren't mutually exclusive. There's room in there, as far as I understand it, for both.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to exclude people from the conversation with it, and it isn't an attack on faith.
Yeah, we're not here to attack anybody. Especially faith. There's I subscribe to, an idea. Rob describes to an idea, and I'm sure you folks describe to ideas that might even match us, and you won't hear us putting you down. Guarantee.
Yeah,
it'll never happen.
Yeah, that was what I was driving at, and I got lost. Lou's superior was telling him that it was demons, and he needed to back off and stop with it, because basically I think the guy thought it was going to bring on revelations in the end times. Who's to say? But humanity needs to have this conversation. We should have been having it 75 years ago, in 1966, the last time our Congress has had UFO hearings, but they put it back in the bottle then. But they didn't have the internet then like they do now to have mass communications, instantaneously, and podcasts like this. They didn't exist. So they were much easier to
toothpaste. As Richard Dolan would say, too much toothpaste has been squeezed out, and you just can't get it back in. We know too much, folks. And talking, from a guy who's never even seen anything, but I got the internet.
Yeah, E.T. God was saying that this is a demon presence up there as well as angelic. The vast majority of phenomena is spiritual nature. He had a lifetime experiences. Yeah, I've heard his testimony. I've talked to him. The brilliant guy that's been through some shit too. Yeah, I completely subscribe to that. We just don't know the totality of it.
I got a question here, or the guy in the tree story. The tree story sounds interesting too. I got the audiobook right here. Write it down. I recommend it. I don't know how much it is. It's called Aliens in the Forest by Noel Torres, Ruben. Nah, that's all I got on here. Now, I did purchase and finish the book In Plain Sight by Ross Coulthart. Very good. And right now, I'm 3 hours and 33 minutes into UFOs and the National Security State by who else? Richard M. Dolan. Yeah, I've been listening to that guy. Now, can you do something, provide a service for folks of their wants, need, and desires, and come up with a business model that you can benefit from and be in this field? I believe you can. That would be Richard Dolan. I think, my opinion, I think he's on the uppity up. He's not doing things he's not putting fake stuff out there. He's not lying to folks. I've been listening to this guy for years now. He's had some wonderful guests on his channel. One of my favorite guests is Mr. X. If you guys have ever come across that guy, he is brilliant. They went over the Admiral Wilson, the Dr. Eric Davis documents, and it just right. So yeah. All right. So there you go. My recommendation: Aliens in the Forest. That's a cool story right there. Makes you feel like you're up in a tree and some aliens are kind of come pull you out. He had one of those duty belts. I don't know if you had one of those. What are they? They're kind of made out of poly. It's like if you burn it, it'd be like plastic. But you know, the duty
Nylon.
belt, it's green. It's it's thick.
Yeah,
It's got
web
these
belts.
like yeah. I had those starting off until I went and I got my own gear, um, so it's more comfortable. I had suspenders on. They wanted me to carry a hip holster, and that's connected to a belt or a duty belt, like the one we're just talking about. And then what I did is that I bought all this stuff, and then I put the suspenders on, and I was able to keep my microphone up here on the suspender, and you know, that kind of thing. I got a picture floating around here of me in Bahrain wearing that thing. But yeah, he was using that duty belt to keep himself up in that tree. He would snap it together, and they try to gas him out of that tree. He kept passing out, and I think that duty belt saved his life. But you guys got to hear that story. All right, so let me go on down. I tell you what. Let me show you on house. Okay, Travis. Yes, he did. All right, real quick. We got like. I tell you what. You want me to go over this story, this last story now, real quick, or we want to wait for another time?
How many viewers do we have? Are we wearing them out?
Okay. Let me see.
How many people do we have on board?
Give me 1 second, and I'll tell you.
Check it out. We're down. We
Check
have
it
12.
out. Yeah. Okay, we got 12. If you guys give me half, if you give me 6 thumbs up, I'll read another story. If not, we'll hold off to another day. So give me an immediate 6 thumbs up. If not, be here another day.
We're at 748 subscribers. We lost one.
What? Okay, every time we lose one, we're going to go down. It's just going to be half. If I can get half thumbs for the half of the viewers right now, that's a better way to word it. Okay.
That's funny. See you, UFO man. Later. He's got to go.
Okay, man. Yeah, we appreciate you being here, man. Appreciate it. And thank you for hooking me up, man. That's awesome. Okay, so Ariel is the best. Yeah, that is the best sighting. Yeah, it was good for the phenomenal. Yeah, that's another one I bought, and I think I watched that 3 times. It's just amazing. It's also amazing, like almost every person that James Fox interviewed and that has already passed away. Like every one of them. Not the, obviously not the kids, but the people, the older people, every one of them. Even Senator Harry Reid has passed away that he interviewed. Jimmy Carter has not. But pretty much every one of them. All right. Abduction at, Devoyle. You know anything about that, Rob?
No, I might even start talking about it. I can't place the name, but I probably know the story.
Bring back some information. Boots on the ground, aliens. All right. This is demon presence up there as well as angelic. I've vast the majority of the phenomenon and spiritual in nature. I've had a lifetime of experience to back that up. Man, I wish I had something. I know people have had these experiences, and I told everybody I'm very jealous of your. I even told Chief Master at Arms. What's his name? Lou's friend. I'm having a brain fart.
Richard. The man we call Richard. Huh?
No, the majestic lion.
Sean Cahill.
Sean. Hey, darn it.
Oh,
sorry, Sean. He needs to come on our show. Yeah, he's a West Coast Master at Arms. I'm an East Coast Master at Arms. Yeah, I like to. I told him on the phone. He and Lou called me up one day, and I was talking to Sean, and I was like, dude, I'm so jealous you got to see that stuff, because I spent a lot of time up on that bridge back when I was a bosun's mate, and I've never seen anything like that. Dude, we call those the big eyes, the big binoculars up there that's mounted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and those things are good. They're so good that it's like you see a mass going across the horizon, and that's because the curvature of the Earth has hidden the rest of the ship. That's how good those binoculars are. All right, so let's see what else we got here going on. All right, do we have any thumbs up? No thumbs up so far? How many thumbs up?
No, we've got several. We got several thumbs up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got one.
That's nothing. All right, let me get through this.
7.
This is from 1958. If anybody can Google this, MONON. That's an acronym. Let me go ahead and.
I told them they could put number 1 in there if they couldn't find the thumbs up, because I wouldn't be able to find it myself either right off. I'm visually challenged.
So MONON, I don't know if that is an acronym, but MONON UFO incident, 1958. The Monon Railroad train crew reportedly seeing a UFO in north central Indiana. It was about 3:20 a.m. on Friday, October 3rd, 1958. Freight train number 91 was en route southbound from Monon to Indianapolis. In the cab of the diesel locomotive, there were 3 men. You got Harry, the engineer, Cecil, the fireman, and Morris, the head brakeman. Ed, the conductor, and Paul, the flagman, were in the caboose. Man, do you remember cabooses, Rob?
Yes, I do. I lived in train town. I sat there almost every day watching the train go by.
And to be a guy sitting in that window, right? Had his arm in that window. Yeah, my mom told me that when she was a kid, they used to throw chalk at them. So, they didn't have the internet back in the 1950s, 40s, whatever. So, you get chalk from these guys. Oh, I can write on the ground with chalk. Yeah, so, it was a big deal for those kids. It was pretty like Santa Claus coming and visiting them every day. Okay, so, these dudes were in the caboose. Now, Cecil, the fireman, a former Air Force man with 450 hours of heavy bomber time. So obviously he was a WW2 kind of guy. Begins the story as follows. We had just pulled past the little spot called Wesco. This is real small writing here. There's no town there, but just kind of crossroads. It was there we first noticed 4 lights in the sky ahead of us. They were moving lights. That's how it's written. At first, they looked like stars, but we realized they weren't stars because they were moving. We could see that. They were moving in some sort of open V formation. But that I mean that there was no light in the forward point of the flight, just the 2 wings with 2 lights in each wing, angled off at about 45 degrees from each other. I must have spotted them first. After I had watched them for about 15 seconds, I called them to the attention to the other men in the cab with me. They watched the lights too. At about that time, the lights veered west. They came across the tracks ahead of the train, about a half a mile ahead of us, we estimated. They were moving pretty slow too. At no time than about 50 miles an hour, 4 big white soft lights. That's how it's written, folks. Just the 3 of us in the engine saw the lights at this time. We were pulling 56 cars. I wonder if they're full. Is this another Leroy story? That's a little bit more than half a mile a car. Yeah, that's long. And because of the angle on which these things were approaching, and because they were so low right then, the boys in the caboose probably couldn't see them. And, there's a half a mile distance between those guys. After the lights crossed the track in front of us, they stopped and came back. So, do you know anything that could do that kind of maneuvers in 1958, Rob?
Just the flying propane tank when a tornado lifted it off the ground.
There you go. That someone wired lights to, obviously, as well. This time they were headed east. They shot off toward the east, and they were gone in a few minutes, out of sight. But then they came back, and we all saw them again. I turned on the microphone. We have radios between the engines and the caboose. I always wondered if that was a line, one of those. You got cord and a cup. Hello, hello. No,
Yep.
no, they had radios.
String tight.
Yeah, string tight. That's what I thought as a kid, little kid. I remember thinking that. Okay, I told the boys in the caboose what we were watching. What are they drinking? I talked to Robinson, the conductor, and told him that what we had seen during that time. During the time we watched these things from Wesco to Kirkland. We did a lot of talking on the radio. The dispatcher and Lafayette could hear us, of course, but he never cut in. The boys in the caboose got the best look at the things, especially when they came right down over the whole train. Conductor Robinson continues the story. I was sitting on the caboose looking forward over the train when Bridge called me on the radio. Said, hey, Robinson. I had already noticed that the 4 gobs of light, but I couldn't make out what they were. They were half a mile ahead of the caboose, the whole length of the train. A little bit after he called me, the things went away. That's how it's written, folks. And we didn't see them for a few minutes. Then all of a sudden, they all came back. Okay, this time they came down over the train, a little way in the back of the engine. They were coming toward the caboose. There comes Leroy. Man, that dude, Leroy likes trains, by the way. This is, I'll try not to crack up. They were going north and the train was heading directly south. And that's how it's written, folks. Last page. But you see how tiny? That's why I'm having trouble reading it so tiny. All right. I'd say there were a couple of 100 feet above the train as they came toward the caboose, and they weren't moving very fast, maybe 30 or 40 miles an hour. It was hard to tell. A fellow just doesn't notice details like that under these circumstances. The frightened, try not to laugh. The frightened train is pretty noisy. Of course, Leroy can't hear inside that propane tank, by the way. He got headphones on like me with the noise cancellation, but I didn't hear any other noise like the roar of the airplane would have made. I think they were silent, or nearly silent at least. Now, how many stories have we heard about these craft being silent or making little to no noise? I've heard hums like an ant. Yep. Hey Google, did I mess with everybody? Hey Siri, hey Alexa, there we go. I messed with everybody.
You want to hear something a little weird?
What's that?
I went to look at the name Leroy in Russian. I went and put in Leroy English to Russian, and it came up with the first sentence they put up. They said, the sentence says, I am not kidding here. They said Leroy started screaming about spaceships and little green men. What the hell?
I'm telling you, it's Leroy. I named that dude Leroy.
Yeah, he's out there, man. For that to be in this, and it wasn't even all I did was type in the name Leroy and English to Russian translation. Nothing about UFOs, and that's the first sentence.
I'll be darned.
Yeah,
they flew over. Yep. Oh, by the way, my stuff went off in here, but I'm sure everybody else's did. That was a fun little prank. Okay, forgive me. They flew over us one after the other. Big round light things that looked about the color of fluorescent lights, kind of fuzzy around the edges. They didn't glare and they didn't light up things as they went over. They just came back toward us over the top of the cars, one after the other. Then they went on down the tracks, maybe after half a mile, and seemed to stop. And that's how it's written, folks. I keep saying that. Sosby and I went out on the back platform where we could see them better, but they were getting pretty far behind us. We could see the lights, but it didn't. But I don't remember whether they were bunched up or not. They were just there. We know that. We could see them behind us, right over the tracks. Then they swung off away from the tracks and went fast, very fast to the east. When they picked up the speed, their light got a lot brighter. They got real bright and white like stars, but a lot bigger and moving very fast. Cecil observed the same objects from the engine, describes what he and the other engineer and head brakeman saw. Hey, what do you do? I'm a brakeman. I brake the train. You do anything else? No, I just brake. Brake the
And the
train,
plumber.
slow the train
And the
down.
plumber. And the plumber. And the plane's and the train's plumber.
Got a magic key right here.
Yeah.
When these things shot back over the east of us, they lit up much brighter than they were before. They turned in line, going north and northeast, and were noticed that they lit up in sequence. The front one first, then number 2, 3, and 4. They changed course and came back past the train. They were going to the opposite direction to us when they made this pass. I guess they were at least a mile or two east of us when they did it. They lit up twice, as described above. First, number 1 would light up, then number 2, and so on, and did that twice as they went past us traveling in the opposite direction. We noticed too that their color changed. When they were first lit up, they were bright white, but they slowed down. The color changed to a kind of yellow, then to orange. Then they went real slow, a kind of dirty orange, which reminds me of some other UAP case number 1 of my cases. The conductor, Ed Robinson, agreed with this description. He added, "We didn't see them from the back end of the train for several minutes after they went away to the east and turned, but the boys in the engines were still seeing them. I got back on the radio with Bridge. He was watching them right then. They must have circled the train and gone north of us, real slow, because the next time we saw them, they came rushing up the tracks right in the back of us. They were coming a lot faster this time." That's how it's written, folks. A lot faster than they had come back over the train the first time. Here's Leroy. Here comes Leroy.
That whistle. Pull that
Man,
horn.
I'm going to have to make a cartoon character of Leroy. Oh, my goodness.
And
They
the
were-
Russian Leroy. His
Yeah.
Russian cousin drinking the local hooch.
Whew. All right. They were just above the treetops along the right away, and they had changed their way of flying, their formation. This time they were sort of flying on edge. 2 of them were on edge, the 2 in the middle, the 2 on the outside were tilted at an angle both to the same direction. The 4 of them flew like that up the tracks beyond the train. A tilted one. When I think of the tilted ones, how many times we've seen that? Look, it's turning, it's rotating. Yeah, it reminds me of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
The 2 of the outside were filled at an angle, both in the same direction. The 4 of them flew like that up the tracks behind the train. A tilted one on the east, 2 of them straight up and down, then one on the west tilted just like the one on the east.
Well, they don't have they don't have backup mirrors on them, so they got to tilt it to get a look at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leroy's drinking again. He's tilting the craft. Okay.
Yep.
When they first
Getting the
come
hooch.
back over the train, we could see that they were round things, circular shaped on the bottom. Then when they flew up the tracks in the back of us, we could see Sosby and I that they were about 40 feet in diameter. How many times have we heard these things? 40 feet in diameter. That's a common. I like looking for these clues. We call it, right. These are just one of the things that's always said. Yeah,
which is about the
something
length
big
of
enough
a double tractor trailer.
Yeah, and it's something big enough that Leroy could fit in.
Mm-hmm.
Whoop whoop. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so 40 feet in diameter and maybe 10 feet thick. Whew. The two flying straight up and down were approximately over the edge of the right of the way and about 200 yards in the back of the caboose. If they had been flying flat down instead of edgewise, let me reread that. If they had been flying flat down instead of edgewise, they would have just about have touched edges, so they must have seen somewhere around 40 feet across the bottom. This is the fireman Cecil continues. We had flashlights. So this is a steam locomotive, right? You got a fireman, heats the steam, got a piston. That's steam locomotive, it sounds like. We have flashlights in the engine and in the caboose, up at the head of the trains. In the engine where I was, we blinked our flashlights at the. How many times have we heard this one too? It seems like everybody's blinking their flashlights at these things, right? And sometimes they get responses. Yep.
They've been watching too many World War II movies.
Yep.
The Resistance. Flashlight at them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so up
like
on
that
the
cigarette.
Up on the head end of the train in the engine where I was, we blinked our flashlights at the things and we waved the lights. Now, who else waved? How about that Catholic priest in New Guinea? He waved, right? And they waved back. So that reminds me of that. So I know if you wave your arms, they can wave back. If they jump up on top of the craft, Leroy jumps on top of the craft and starts waving back. You know you made contact.
Yeah, and
we thought we might have get them to come in closer. Some people just
be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, just say screw it. Let's just go all out. How many times is this ever going? Let's make the plunge and make the command decision. We're going to do this. Okay, they're not going to believe us anyway, right? So they did come down over the train a few minutes later, and Robinson related. But of course, I couldn't say they didn't. They did it because we were flashing the lights at them. At any rate, they did it. At any rate, they didn't flash any lights back at us. Robinson continues. Okay, 2 more paragraphs, folks.
You know why there's no sightings hardly in the Ozarks or the Appalachians or the South? Because they will shoot at those damn things. If they come over, everybody's got a gun leaning up against the door and or in their pickup truck. They get that low and slow, they're gonna be getting dinged. We're gonna be finding UFO craft with a bunch of bullet dings in the bottom of them. They flew over the Ozarks. Whoops.
Yep. Yeah. I think if you guys know who Preston Dennett is, he does UFO stories on his channel. He's got one about shooting UFOs. There are so many stories of people shooting UFOs and hearing a ding.
I'm sure they did.
They hear a ding. Apparently, they're made out of metal. Alrighty.
The ones that flew over the White House in '52, they shot a piece of it off. That I think Battelle Labs got hold of and reverse engineered, but that's another story. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to hear that one too. I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
Okay. In the caboose, we had a 5-cell ceiling beam flashlight that throws a pretty good beam a long ways. When the things came down and flew right up to the tracks and behind the caboose, I grabbed that sealed beam flashlight and shined it on them. As soon as the light hit them, they jumped sideways out of the beam. When they got back over the tracks, I did it again and they scattered. They acted like they didn't care for all that light on it. Okay. Hey, don't
They were
look
gonna come
at
down
us,
and
but
take the
we're going.
lasers away. Hey, don't be shining
Yeah,
your flashlights at us. We're trying
we
to
don't know
fly
you got a
here.
shotgun. You be shooting your shotgun at us, with your
Hmm.
slug rounds in it.
I'll tell you what, a
Uh,
Mosin Nagant shoots like 3 feet of flame out of them when you fire those things off. So yeah, they would see that in a heartbeat from like a half a mile away. But
oh,
those with armor
yep,
piercing bullets would go probably penetrate the craft because they blow holes and everything.
yep. All right. So last 15 minutes of the show, we'll see where we go from here. And this is the last paragraph, folks. From the time Bridge first called us on the radio until the last time we saw them near Kirkland, 38 miles northwest of Indianapolis, I was about an hour and 10 minutes together. That's how it's written, folks. They hung around the back end of the train, but after we shined a light on them, they didn't come any closer anymore. That's how it's written, folks. While we were switching from Frankfurt, they stayed away back up the tracks, just hovered there until we moved on. Then they followed us again. When they finally went away at Kirkland, they just zipped off to the northeast and kept on going, and we didn't see them anymore. Written by Frank Edwards, folks. Woo! And this is from the Monon, MONON, Railroad Historical Technical Society, Incorporated. That's where Rob sent me the link to. That's an interesting story. And that's
Yeah,
our
it
third
is.
story tonight, folks. For you guys who are at the 75th anniversary of the Roswell, if you happen to see Lou there, tell him 2XL is my shirt size, and we're expecting some souvenirs since we weren't able to go. All right, so get the word out. 2XL for Shannon. What size shirt you wear, Rob? 1XL?
Yeah.
Okay, 1XL, 2XL.
Yep.
Okay, I'm learning how to lose some weight. I'll blame it on the prednisone. All right, so what else do we got going
That
on?
good Cajun food, man.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. Somebody was writing that that probably a reason they don't come down and say hi is humans not putting their best foot forward. It's human nature that's what's kept us alive. Their survival instincts. In the early days of humanity, when they're getting rebooted every time, stranger danger was a real thing. If they weren't
Mm-hmm.
around here, you needed to be afraid of them because, you know, constantly conquering for resources and things, unfortunately, is all too realistic. And what's more alien than something that's sentient and alien, hence the word, that we would be, we fear what we don't understand, and something we don't understand completely. Like when I stepped outside last night and saw the bear, I've never seen a bear that close, especially standing up, anything that big, on two legs. Um, it's like the size of two, 6'6" dudes stand, giving each other a hug or something. It didn't fit my frame of reference at first, because I thought maybe my mind was trying to shape it into seeing a very tall and big dude standing there by the tree, but it quickly turned into the bear. And then I thought maybe it was up in the tree because I'd seen a lot of
Mm-hmm.
pictures of the bear up, climbing a tree to get away from other things. But no, its feet were on the ground, and I'm looking up at it and like, holy shit, this thing reaches the ground. Never seen anything like it up close.
Yeah.
Completely shattered my mind's flipping matching game of, hey, watch, let me match this to something you've seen before. I didn't see anything that close before like that. And when we see something that's completely alien to us, our first reaction is fight or flight response, and that's what's kept humanity alive. But like Lou has said, maybe there's a third choice. Instead of attacking or trying to shake its hand, that we just observe and do nothing. To just break
Mm-hmm.
that, that response and instinct, and just try to, like the 1976 Iranian pilot, when he locked onto one to fire. Luckily, it turned off his
Yeah.
weapons system instead of taking his plane out of the sky. And he said immediately after that he hated himself for trying to fire on it, that he wished that he'd done something that was a positive gesture instead. But that was his first
Right.
reaction, was to try and fire on it. I don't blame him for being afraid. Who wouldn't be? But and maybe this is why they're trying to gradually acclimate themselves to us better, is so we don't panic so much and be more expecting. That they maybe do have some concern, some of them, for how we feel and how we react. Um, some of them, I've heard some very bad stories about how they treat people, and it sounds like they have emotions too, to some degree, and some are not. Some are very vindictive, malevolent. Some are benevolent, as we've heard.
Yeah.
So, it's just, you just don't know what you're going to call down. And I would be very, from the people that have been involved with these things, they all say the same thing: be very careful, and that CE5 probably isn't in the best interest of people that they think it will be. It's not going to be the love and light picnic that they think it will, unless it wants to present itself as love and light. But that's not usually the case in their experience and what they've gotten reports on. So we want to be careful, but we need to know as a species, because they are interacting with us and telegraphing some kind of intent. And we should have been having this conversation as a species 75 years ago. We're 75 years late to this conversation, and I hope that it doesn't change the outcome of what these beings are trying to telegraph with us. And I am
Right.
optimistic. I'm expecting the worst and hoping for the best, but I am, I'm under no illusion this is going to be love and light, but I'm hoping that there's going to be a positive outcome, or at least a neutral one, because otherwise, I don't like the proposition of having to fight to the death. But if that's the case between that and subjugation, I'm going to just have to go down fighting, I guess. But that's just me. So yeah, I'm not saying wait 20 years, Raz. Not at all. We need to have, that's why they're pushing for the hearings and things with Congress. It's time to quit screwing around. And our whole of government needs to be aware that this is not human and figure it the hell out. What do we do about it? Or if we, if we're supposed to do anything about it, but at least have the conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to go ahead and let everybody know. At this time, we can't take any donations because we don't have the have anything set up. I have no link to send you somewhere like a PayPal. I know on Facebook you can donate to a charitable stuff. We have to get the charity actually registered with the 501c. See if I can bring that up right here. Here it is, folks. This section of this video is being brought to you by the Shannon Scott's annual Vets and Vets for Wounded Vets and Pets fundraiser. There you go. Let me get that out of there. Boom, boom. There we go. And yeah, as soon as we find out, we'll you guys be the first ones to know. If whatever we can disseminate, we'll do that as soon as possible. We want you guys to be up to date. We're going to be pushing this for a while, and we got some ideas, and it's just going to take a little time. But I think it's on the right track with the right people. And like I said, if you want to help out help out in a position that I've already talked about, please let us know, and we'll make sure it's a good fit for you. If not, maybe something else. Any help getting this organization off the ground. I will make a prediction. It's going to go. It's going to be kind of nationwide. It's going to have some big ticketed items. It's going to have some big names, and big organizations they know about this. Very fortunate that we have Lou on the team. This is as much as, like he says, it's like a quarterback. You just can't give the quarterback all the credit, right? Well, say Lou's talked about it. I'll talk about it too. This ain't all. I'm honored these guys put my name on it, but I'm getting a lot of help. The only thing I'm doing is coordinating meetings and getting the people in the right places, and things are just. Rob said, "Hey, let's go big or go home." I said, "Roger that." So here we are. We're doing it, and it's. I once said, there's a saying, ask and you shall receive. And every time I do, I've been given. I've been blessed with things, and I don't take them for granted. And I've been given a lot of things. Every time I ask, it seems to fall through for me. I'm very grateful. Don't want to go into that right now. I'm crying on my last minutes here. Let's see how we're doing on time. Dude,
There's
we
no
got
crying in baseball.
no crying in baseball. All right, Tom Hanks. No crying. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So, thanks, Mike. We'll look into that later. Let's see if there's any other chats worth going over here at the end here. Anybody have any questions? Let's see. I'm waiting. Okay. Let's see. Boy, I missed a bunch of them. Okay.
Yeah, I forgot to give people mentions.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, once we get to 1,000, then you guys can send me Rolexes and your everything in your bank account. I got. Let's see where we're at. I want to thank everybody for subscribing, watching our show. I got banners for that too. Let me bring these up. See right there. Thank you for watching, and make sure you do this. You hit the like and subscribe to the channel, because I'll give you an update. As of right now, folks. Drum roll, please. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, we got the 750 subscribers. Thank you. Woo! 250 to go.
Awesome sauce.
Yeah. And this we have 13 people right now watching. So besides me, that's 12 people, and you, that's 11 people. So thanks, guys. I'd do it with one person.
Yep.
So what's coming up on the next show, Rob? When are we doing the next show, Rob?
Next time we'll be doing the next show.
Yeah, next time we'll be doing the show. It'll actually be on that one day. You know, that day I'm talking about? Yeah, that day.
Yeah,
and it'll be with both of us, at least. And
live, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we do need some backup pre-recorded, just in case, we need to drop out and put something up.
Yep.
Contingency plan.
I was going to do that with these trains, but I wasn't feeling good the last 2 days. I told you I'd do it. I find myself playing Battlefield 2042 and going marathoning with it. That, and I'm flying my flight simulator on the Xbox Series X. So, and if it's friend or foe, man, there's something I want to say. I heard this recently, and it's so true. When it comes to this phenomenon, what's the worst case scenario? They're here to eat us, right? Take over the planet.
Yeah.
We don't know. That's why it could be a threat. We just need to identify it. I don't know, right? Maybe they're just being nice until the mothership comes, and it's Independence Day. The movie. Maybe Will Smith will come and save us.
The only frame of reference that we have is to make a deep dive in ancient history and roll that footage forward and look at the precedents that we have and that is left in stone and in petroglyphs and in ancient manuscripts. We can examine all of that and roll the dial forward and see what precedences there are for how this is played out in history. But there are entire civilizations that disappeared too. So I'm not under any illusion, but I am hoping, I'm being optimistic with it, with my expectations. I am managing my expectations, hoping for the best, but I do expect the worst. But that's just because how I've lived my life of having to learn how to survive. So, but I am hoping there's a good outcome from this. And I do have optimism that that'll happen in some way, but just don't know how yet. But we can look at history as an example of potentials that have taken place throughout history to see what might roll out this time around. Because like Solomon said, there's nothing new under the sun. And I don't think that there's not anything new with this as well. I think this is something that we've been dealing with cyclic as long as humanity's been in existence.
Right. So ET God says you can't have light without darkness. That's true. That also reminds me of a movie. What movie? Movie trivia time, folks. Was You Can't Have Light Without Darkness. I'll give you a hint. Tom Cruise was in this movie. Put it down, and let's see if you win the internet by giving me the right answer. We'll go on to the next. Tom Cruise was in this movie. You can't have. He didn't say it. His antagonist said it in this Tom Cruise movie. Okay. While we go on, wonder if they think we're just like us, observing animals. Yeah, we don't know if we're a zoo. We're an experiment. We're their experiment. I don't have the answers. I'd like to get, if someone says they have the answers, I'm telling you, as anybody knows, Senior Chief Don Shipley, if ever anybody comes up to you and says, I'm a Navy SEAL, you take your finger, you point it in their face, and you tell them they're a liar. Okay, so if anybody says they have answers, you put your finger in their face, you tell them they're a liar, because nobody has this figured out. Not just anybody on the internet. They got it all figured. Yeah, you're a liar. No one does. Okay. Let's see anybody figured out this movie down here. Oh, nobody yet. All right, I'll give you guys another couple of minutes here, and I will tell you the name of it. Okay, Raz, mouthful. Okay. Rob says, hey, Ren, I imagine they know we are scientists above other animals, or sentient above animals. That's right. Boy, my eyes are, I got to wear my glasses. But above other animals, but do they give leeway to our feelings? I hear they don't have feelings. That's the rumor. And they're actually interested in how we have something they don't. We have emotion. We're human. And all that goes with it. And they're clueless. That's the rumor. I don't know that. I haven't met anybody that says they're an alien and told me that. Okay, start that 501c process. Oh, yes. Cases seem to take an awful long time to get approved through the government system. Yeah. But
from what I've heard,
when they see Shannon Scott, they should just approve it immediately, because don't they know who I am? Excuse me, as seen on NBC, the Today Show. That's right, Shannon Scott. That should get them straight to the front line.
And you're the guy that's going to bankrupt Social Security with your medical bills.
Yeah. Hey, guys, for you guys, I'm telling you, I feel so sorry for you guys that haven't been cashing in on your Social Security. I've been spending all that money. I feel so bad. But Rob tells me, don't worry about it.
Yep, go for broke. Literally, go for broke. Yeah.
I feel
they can afford it. They'll just.
I am the $1 million man. Let's put it this way: all the medical stuff I get, all the hospitalizations, just one medication, $16,000 a month. One medication, $16,000 a month. I'm sure Social Security doesn't pay that; they pay a portion of it, but that's a lot of money. Holy crap! Another medication I take once a month, or several times during the month, is over $3,000. So that's the second most expensive. Yeah. Here's one for you guys. I got. See if I got it right here. This medication right here. It's a breathing treatment. This is over $160 a dose. $160 a dose. This is an enzyme, actually. I breathe in an enzyme to help reduce mucus, but that's an expensive and I do that twice a day. Whew, I'm sorry, spending all that Social Security. All right. Yeah, Lou is super cool. Yeah, I'm talking to Lou all the time. I'm finally being desensitized. I had that. Oh my God, I'm talking to Lou. And my my eyeballs hurting. Okay, I've calmed down with having all these talking to them on the phone all the time, having meetings with them all the time. I'm getting used to them. All right, so he's probably getting tired of me sending puppy pictures to him, though. Trevor Taylor needs to be on the show. Absolutely. I have to I'm not a good host. I don't think the people. You see the type of interview I did with Lou. It was the most different interview, and I wanted it to be like that. The most different interview that he has done. Like, not a single person. I don't know. I wanted to see how you doing, Lou. You know, because honestly, I knew all the answers to the questions already. So, thank you for your. Hey, thank you. I get kind of bashful about that. I did 20 years, and there are so many people out there that I think that are heroes, and I think about those that didn't get to come home. We've all experienced that. I've experienced the deaths of several pilots that I had to escort their bodies around and right up to transferring them into different containers and pack them up with ice and putting them on helos on the flight deck. And it was the saddest and the most honorable thing I could have done. I was honored to walk behind this guy on the John F. Kennedy, and we went in the port side elevator with his body, flag over his coffin, and we escorted it onto the up onto the flight deck and into a helicopter to transport him off the ship. And the entire flight deck was full of people on port and starboard side. And my heart, I knew the family already knew by then, and my heart went out to them, and it still does to this day.
That's awful.
I have, like a lot of people who serve, I have survivor's guilt. Like,
I do.
And, there's so many people who die for even stupid reasons, like being in the wrong place at the wrong time. I knew master at arms who've seen other master at arms die because of stupid accidents, like being on the outside of the skin of the ship when you're told not to be, and they were there because they misunderstood their orders. They had to go to their doors that they had to make sure people don't go out. And they were doing the close-in weapon system, CWIS, and they were shooting the drone coming over the ship. And it broke up the drone. It came down in pieces and hit this one master at arms, second class. It could have been a third. And this was on the Roosevelt, I believe. It hit him in the throat and he bled out. It just breaks my heart. Like, gosh, I hear so many stupid accidents. Let me tell you, I've known more people in the service who died in motorcycle accidents that died in war. We've lost so many sailors. I've known so many people who've died for stupid stuff like that, for being intoxicated, being in some type of DUI, and lost their careers over it too. And I know people, a senior chief that I was really close friends with, he was a machinist mate, and he got drunk apparently, and he put his bike underneath an 18-wheeler, stuff like that. So, all right, let me get away from this sad talk stuff, and I thank you. Really appreciate your support in our service to our nation. All right. Fallen angels, all the humanity with a great flood and have caused us pain in the past. Yeah. Oh yeah, the death seems to be curious about the cat. Hey, guys, you don't know. I've seen another video where this dude was talking about the Brookshire UFO incident, and there was a cattle mutilation. So that was one crazy night. A lot of Americans were kidnapped, legally kidnapped. They were legally assaulted, and fortunately, they were all returned, and some of them were not returned in the place they were taken. Yeah. All right. Skinwalker Ranch is Skinwalker Ranch a money scheme? I don't believe so. No, because Brandon, he's not doing this for fortune and fame. He's a real billionaire, and he's interested like anybody else. Is that correct there?
Yeah, and he didn't set out to do a TV show with it. He was approached with it for doing what he was going to do anyway. But, like a lot of us, we're in this to get the conversation out to a wider audience So, you saw an opportunity to kill two birds with one stone. This gets it out there beyond just the ancient alien show and things into the mainstream to help elevate the conversation and to find answers. So, yeah, why wouldn't he?
So Xavier Gamer is leaving us. All right, come back and listen to the rest of the show later, dude. Good night. He says, night, everyone. You are great and keep at it. Yes, sir, we sure will. Someone says they need a digital Rolex. I don't think Rolex makes digitals.
Oh, sure they do. China gets them. You can get them off Wish for like $10.
Yeah. Yeah, these people are selling for like $200 on Facebook. What do you call it? Facebook Marketplace. There's a bunch of people selling fake Rolexes. Actually, Homeland Security or Department of Homeland Security need to not them. Customs. We got a customs, right? They need to come in and swoop in and get these people for. You cannot sell fake items, folks. It's against the law. All right, pumping it up. A fly vision. Let's see. THX. Some lights. I know my way around open and hammer. Wrenches for everyone. How many wrenches you gave out so far tonight?
3 or 4.
Well, that's good. Hey, do we know if we had any a-holes in our chat tonight that had to get kicked?
Nope, not aware.
Okay, good. They've already been blocked. He who must not be named has been blocked because he's a nasty one. Whoo, that man's nasty. He stank. Let's see. I don't know either. Yep. Yeah, trust but verify. Taps, brother. See, taps, lights out. All hands turn into your bunks. Maintain silence about the decks. Taps. And I've been out for 13 years. I remember that, folks. UFO and aliens are almost easier to understand than ghosts. Yeah, I've never seen a ghost. However, I did see a video of a really good ghost. And that's when whatever show these ghost hunters are on. There's so many ghost hunter shows, right? You guys may know what I'm talking about. There's these two guys. They're not on anymore. They went to the St. Augustine Lighthouse and they looked up the staircase, right? Staircase goes up to the lighthouse and it looks like a ghost is looking over the rail right down to the camera at night. Man, look at that. I got goosebumps. That was, I gotta see it to believe it, but that gave me goosebumps. God, yes, Nair, okay. Born on the 4th of July? No, it's not born on the 4th of July. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, let me see if anybody came up with the, let me go ahead and do that. Let's see. See if anybody came up with the answer. Nobody. I know the answer is Legend. It's one of the first films.
Oh, yeah, I should have known that. Yeah, I started to say that, but I forgot that was Tom. I forgot that was Tom Cruise.
That was Tom Cruise. Yep, Legend. You can't have darkness without the light or something like that. And that dude who played that, he played in, he was one of the characters in Rocky Horror Picture Show. He also played an officer in The Hunt for Red October. He played in a lot of different movies, but
Jim Curry.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I love that movie, Legends. I've watched that dozens of times.
I actually have I told my wife I enjoyed that. I had a girlfriend who brought over. We skipped school, I guess, one day, came to the house, and she had a VHS tape. She had Legend. I want you to watch this tape. So we watched it, and it was very charming. This is 88.
Yeah.
I guess I watched this, and it was a young Tom Cruise, and unfortunately, she passed away some time ago in a car accident. I got the word. Her name was Tristy. Broke my heart when I found out Tristy passed away. Okay, so Answer legends. Okay, let's go on with it. Maybe the ones here are either like escape works or send them away. I mean, okay, yeah. You are worth it because you have a great heart. You're fun. Hey, thank you very much, Xavier Gamer. Diabetes, 2 shot plus. Yeah, yeah. I also. I mean, I've got like. I'm a walking miracle. I'm the most healthiest, sickest person the doctor's ever seen. Right. I have type 2 diabetes now, and this is new to me. This is all caused by it's prednisone induced because I have to be on prednisone in order to breathe a lot of times. So when I start going downhill, my prednisone dosage goes up, and then I have to taper off of that. So, showing any news of hearing or going hear. Oh, hearings are yes. I heard a rumor. I heard a rumor that's going to happen soon. Whatever you want to say, put a time frame in soon. I also heard we may know, but we'll recognize somebody who's going to be doing this number.
Couple of them.
Couple of them that we're going to recognize. Okay, it's not us. We're going to be right here. We're going to be talking about.
Yeah, when they need to know the big shit, that's all us.
Yeah,
the other guys they handle our light work.
Yeah, I believe it's going to happen. Okay. Let's see. Hearings are moving forward. They're just not on the books yet. That's all I know of. Got a poker face over here. All right. Hopefully, hopefully tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to happen tomorrow. It's a Saturday tomorrow. Okay. Thanks, Rob, for answering. Absolutely. You are welcome. I think if Rob ever says he doesn't know something, let me tell you something. The guy knows everything, right? He couldn't keep a secret. He just tells it. He has diarrhea of the mouth. All right.
What?
Let's see what else is going on. Just, I know,
Not me.
man. No.
I know nothing.
I know now. That's what I say. I don't know nothing. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, Lou seems like such a great guy. So down to earth, understanding, and starstruck is the word that I like to use. I was starstruck when he was calling me in the hospital, seeing how I was doing. He was calling the nurse's station. He was calling the administrator's office, and anything he could do. Starstruck when he calls me out of nowhere. And finally he says, dude, stop. I'm just a guy just like you. I know. I had to get desensitized, okay? Because, it's Lou. It's like who just texted me? Oh, that was Lou. Oh, who just texted you, Shelly? Nobody? I have Lou just texted me. I have to tell my wife, I must be look how special I am.
A couple of times when he had to call me, he's like, "Oh, I hope I'm not interrupting you, but I need to give you a call and talk something over." I'm like, he's apologizing for calling me and disturbing my evening. I'm like, I don't think I'm too busy to take your call, Lou. I'll take a little time out for you, dude. No problem.
Hey, did you have your people call my people first? Hello.
Yeah. Clear up my secretary.
Yeah, my handler.
They're
please
so
like
humble.
and subscribe to this channel. Yes, please. Yes. Yeah, that's something Rob tells me all the time. How do we remain so humble? My goodness. Yes. And you start seeing our heads start doing this. Call us out. Call us out. All right.
Yeah.
Man, that is crazy. Sorry to hear about all the ones you had. Yeah. Even the person I took a billet, and you guys who served in the military know this. A billet is a job position. I took a billet of a sailor who died. I got the billet of a young seaman who was taking down the safety rails because they were setting up for a underway replenishment, UNREPs, right? And the ship hit a wave or something, and he lost his balance. He went off the he went off the port side and was never seen again. That's, we've all seen that stuff. It's sad. Like I said, we lose more people over stupid things than war.
Yeah.
Real good for mine was red shirt on the 2nd, 5th SX class 20 years ago. Amazing. A memorial on the SX, on another SX, CV-12 Hornet, Della Fantail, or dropped. Yeah. So there's a tradition.
I had a great great uncle that was on a destroyer, and the recoiling big guns. He fell off of a upper deck into one of the recoil when the gun retracted, and it crushed him and killed him there.
Oh my God.
Yeah, stupid mistakes, stupid accidents. Yeah.
Oh my God. All right, so get back to this in 1 second, folks. Here we go. Yeah. We just might. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yep.
All right. So, can you get Travis Taylor on the show? Will you ask him? Do we know people who know him?
Kinda. Yeah.
Kinda.
I do.
We may.
I'll have to make sure I don't have him on a call block or something. He blows my phone up, man. I've had to block him, a couple times now, begging to be on the show. But we can't have everybody on. We got to be selective.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't know. Love Skinwalker Ranch, and if watch series, but from the start, if you can tell it's a genuine show, but not like others that maybe are just in it for the money and making stuff up. Skinwalker didn't need it to either. Let me go ahead and just say this, that Rob can tell you I'm not a big fan on how the format is for Skinwalker. The stuff you see is real. However, there's a lot of behind the scenes of, all right, you may want to go in this direction here and ask these kind of questions in order some of it comes off
forced. It's not natural flow, and they put a little bells and whistles on it to give it viewer appeal, to make it entertaining. So it's not as you would naturally play out, but that's entertainment value for you.
Like if everything you saw on Unidentified is true, Lou wouldn't come out and just lie, right? Everybody knows. Mm-hmm. Everybody should know, except for one person. Everybody should know, Lou, that he's not a liar. Everything he says has come to fruition, and he's an honest, generous guy. And Rob and I both give him a big seal of approval. But that they had a format too that I hated. I hated the music. I tell Rob that all the time. I said, once you start noticing how they try to affect your emotion or get you, they actually try to trigger an anxiety attack of, oh my God, with this music, right? If I can just mute the music, it'll be a better show. But that's just the way it is, Yeah, I can preach about that for an hour. Okay. Oh, you're very welcome. Oh, ancient history criticism's got a wrench. Yeah.
Yeah, I finally learned I could trust him enough to give him a wrench.
Mm-hmm. Because we're going to have, the bigger we get, we're going to have we'll have trolls. Okay, Rob Headley. Well, Ren says, is that your tweeter handle? No, it's not. I don't think. At Rob Heatherly.
Oh, they actually send before they put the message out there with my name.
Okay. Oh, I gotcha. Well, I'm glad we're here to get you through a slow night. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Ancient history criticism says you guys are getting me through a slow night. UAPs and trains are a cool topic. Hey, I would love to hang out with myself as well, man. So I feel you. So I pressed the send. Okay, there, that explains it. All right, so ghost might be a product of Hawkins radiation. virtual particles. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about that kind of stuff. And hey, I got an open mind to it. I met a ghost once in a place I lived. Got right in front of me. Keep your cameras. If that happened, I'd be like,
I'd throw it at him. I'd throw it at him and run like hell.
so what you doing in here? Yeah, I've never
Yeah,
experienced any.
I'd be trying to cut him with it out of instinctive reaction. Whatever's in my hand, it's gonna be trying to smack him with it while I'm advancing to the rear.
Yeah. Invisible Tracker says, our elders said, don't talk to them. They will try to get you to cross the other side. Stay away from the light. Carry on. Whatever her name was. That small person. Yeah. Carry on. Yeah. Thank you for the, look at there. You're welcome. That'll be $5.
Yeah, it's the first time I've never heard UFOs and trains anywhere other than when I was researching it. So yeah.
We got a topic that I don't think nobody heard tonight, and we went over it.
Yep, we did.
We're doing 3.5 hours. This is, and I can just keep on going. Okay.
I can't, man. I'm getting smoked.
Okay, well, let me hurry up then. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Let me get through these real quick, folks. We get down to the bottom. Oh shit, Lou in the home. Yep. Love hearing you guys' stories as well. Yeah. Guys, I think that is going to be it. We did 3.5 hours tonight. It is about 2 minutes too. So that's it. I'll please leave your comments in the comment section. Will be take the chat. I don't know if the chat turns off after the show, but let me get things set up so we can leave. I got to get the right things in here. Doodly. Video clips. All right, I'm ready to go. Anything else? Any last words, Rob?
Next time.
We'll
be back.
All right.
We'll be back.
We'll be back. Yeah, we might even have a better show, man. Every show, like I said, will get better and better. It was fun spending all this time with you, but I'm used to spending 8 or 9 hours on the phone with you anyways at night. My wife gets up in the morning. You still up? I'm on the phone.
Yeah, I done that. Yeah, I get that one too. Are you still awake? I'm like, babe, I'm on the phone.
I'm asleep.
I'm hanging out. Go to bed. No. Yeah, that kind of thing. Oh well.
All right. Last words.
No.
Rob.
No.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for spending Magic Key is the has been brought to you by Magic Key, and this right here, Shane and Scott's annual Vets for Wounded Vets and Pets fundraiser. That's who it's been brought to you by. Well, more information coming down the road. And thank you for spending your time with us. And until next time, good night, folks.